Sure, you can help us a little bit, Nina, on the history of ventriloquism.
Well, I know that it has a very dark history and that ventriloquists used to earn their living as if their words were divine utterances.
Yes, that's the point.
Yes. Not you, dear.
So sorry. Sorry, I was listening, but then my hand came out and it felt quite shocked myself.
That's really disturbing.
It's quite disturbing.
Really disturbing. That's horrible. That's like Alien.
It's like Lady Gaga's sleeves.
Well, yes, you're absolutely right. It was regarded as a divine utterance or demonic possession, in fact, wasn't it?
And I know one woman died from her ventriloquism.
Who was that?
But I don't know her name, I bet you do. With her utterances, she was objecting to the marriage of Henry VIII.
To Anne Boleyn.
To Anne Boleyn.
Her name was Elizabeth Barton, and she was known as the Holy Maid of Kent. And she was a very good ventriloquist, and so these voices would come without her mouth moving, as it were, from her stomach.
Nice tricks,
in which
too.
she would... in which she would say things. And she became very, very popular until she started to say...
The bloke looking at her tits.
Yeah, well... we wouldn't do that.
You've got yours out as well tonight. Is that to distract from the lip movement?
And she did very well. She was very popular until she said that if Henry VIII married Anne Boleyn, he would be deposed, and Henry VIII didn't like that at all, so had her head chopped off. And ironically, her head was put on top of a pole outside.
And carried on talking.
Well, you wonder about it. It is quite a strange fate for a ventriloquist to have their head stuck on a pole. But she was indeed, she suffered for her art. But in the 19th century, it became known to be a piece of entertainment rather than demonic spirits. What is this woman doing there?
What the? Is this Lady Gaga's new album cover, isn't it? She's wearing
It's an experiment.
No, she's using a device that's for sale, or was for sale. It was built in 1929.
Making
a new
thing.
Device.
Knitting jumpers?
Patented by Dr. Kurt Jonen. It records the motions and bodily reactions. A lady is pictured being examined by the device. Pneumatic belt records the change of the circumference of her chest. Pneumatic cuffs about the upper arms control the changes of muscle tension. Through a hose is recorded the rhythms of respiration, and another hose transfers the strength of touch.
It's a sex toy.
Yeah.
But what about her hands? That's the clue, and our theme today.
Piano. She's learning piano.
Piano, yes. It's a piano teaching machine. Extraordinary, isn't it? Extraordinary.
Wow.
It's supposed to help you with your piano playing, your posture, your breathing. There have been many others along those lines. There's the chiroplast, which was clamped to the piano and trapped the player's arms. That's the one on the left, so that you were forced to play using only a wrist and finger action.
You were then crippled.
There was the one in the middle, which was the dactylion, from the Greek dactyl, meaning finger, was a contraption designed to strengthen the fingers because there's springs that you're going against in that middle picture.
Yeah.
And it's said that Robert Schumann used that and it actually hurt his fingers, though others say that that was syphilis.
It's a fine line, isn't it? When you're into fingering, syphilis.
It's all over.
Next to that is the chiro or the chirogymnaste, which is a tiny finger gym, which has got little finger events, and you can see them. But if you do harm yourself by using one of these things, you can always use the bed piano for bedridden people.
Wow.
Which is a rather splendid device. I think you'll agree.
I hope that's securely attached.
That is the laziest keyboard player in the world.
And as you see, it rolls up, pushes away neatly.
That's fantastic.
It's great, isn't it?
I want one.
You can slide pizzas down from the back.
Yes.
Bill's sitting there going, I am going to get one of those.
I will. I'm going to get one.
Bill will have one of those.
That's the piano over the bed. The upside-down piano.
That's
virtually.
magic.
It'd be easier to strap yourself into bed and tilt the bed up to a normal piano.
Yeah.
How would a left-handed piano work?
Probably high notes at the left. There it is.
And there it is. That is a left-handed piano. It'd take a hell of a lot of unlearning for you to play on that,
Good
wouldn't it?
God.
Can you imagine? It would drive you mad.
You would.
Transposing pianos. Have you ever played with one of those?
Well, I've got there's a device on the keyboard that will do that.
Yeah.
for you, but
on an electric keyboard.
On an electric
But there are
one.
pianos that have a mechanism that...
Mechanical ones.
mechanical
It's a
one.
lever on the...
and it moves it across to the next string.
Oh, it does that, right.
Irving Berlin used one because he only composed in F-sharp.
He's like Stevie Wonder, who likes
And
the
he
black
couldn't
note.
read music, but he was the most successful songwriter of his age.
Really?
Yeah, he couldn't read music. He was fantastically talented. I mean, he's the man who wrote White Christmas, for God's sake, let alone Top Hat, White Tie. He lived long enough to be able to see his own songs go out of copyright. Because his first hit was in 1911 with Alexander's Ragtime Band. You know, Come On and Hear, Come On and Hear, Alexander's Ragtime Band.
They only go out of copyright after you're dead, though, by law.
No, they do now. But in
Right.
his day, it was 75 years after it was written.
Right.
So he lived long enough to see some of his songs go into the public domain.
How old was
now
he when
it's
he
70
wrote it,
years
then?
after he died. Very young, early 20s. But just had this extraordinary talent.
Here we go. What mistake did Picasso make when he painted this?
He put lots of glue on the frame.
Yeah, they can't get their hands on it.
Oh, no! Picasso's done the gluey frame thing again.
He left 2 snooker referees holding it.
Does anybody know what the picture is?
It's Marie-Therese Walter.
Yes.
She was underage, but no, I don't know.
She was 17.
Yeah.
She was underage for what?
For doing what he was doing with her.
Yeah.
He was 45 when they met. She's Picasso's mistress. But when he painted this, who didn't know that she existed in his life?
Oh, his wife?
Yeah, so the mistake was, even with the picture looking like that, his wife, Olga Koklova, recognised that it was somebody else. So that's Marie-Therese Walter on the left there.
He picked her up, didn't he? He's just
Yes.
What did he...
Like, he's like, come on, I reckon I'm Pablo Picasso. I don't know.
It's not a
Was she a
horse.
horse?
Basically, he wasn't a nice guy. He wasn't
Oh, no,
very-
he's a prick biscuit.
Yes.
That's a horse. Prick biscuit.
I bet on that. 2-1, brick biscuits. Of the 7 most important women in his life, 2 killed themselves and 2 went mad. It's not a good track record, frankly.
No.
We've got a picture of La Rêve, which is the dream, which also has Marie-Therese.
It's
Look
also
on
got his cock on her face.
Yes. Just... If you look at the one on the right, that's his penis on top of her head.
Isn't that part of her head?
No.
Yeah.
Well, it was when he put it there.
Yeah.
Oh, no, I see, yes.
Yeah.
Look.
Yeah. That. So
Do you think, did he say, yeah, that's my penis? Or did he just accidentally...
basically, it's an erotic thing. It's that she's dreaming about sex as well as enjoying it.
That's terrible nap technique. Like, I'm gonna do...
You get so stiff
Yeah,
in the neck.
that's true.
It's so stiff, did you say?
Stiff in the neck.
It looks like she's on a plane, doesn't it? Very
Yeah.
small seat, and he's the row behind putting
She
his
needs
cock
one
in
of
her.
those. This is the kind of art criticism you rarely see.
What was the most disastrous haircut ever? Yes. Some examples for you there.
I've got 2 answers and I get the screen going up there. One is my last haircut. No, or Samson's haircut. Samson's haircut done...
No, Samson's haircut's a very good answer, actually.
That's me.
Yes. You just noticed.
Well, you must remember posing for these, or has this been...
I remember the one in the middle. But the other 2, I have no memory.
I know for a fact that in 1928, the New England Tool and Die Manufacturing Company was looking for a new screw that wouldn't slip out of the notch. Yeah. And a man named Phillips worked for him, who had one of the most disastrous haircuts ever. It was parted in 4...
That would be an example of a disastrous haircut that went good. This one, well, I mean, of course, there are many candidates, and Samson is one, but do you know anything about Louis VII of France? There he is on the left. We're talking about the 13th century. His queen became queen of a more famous king to us, being British.
Aquitaine.
She was Eleanor of Aquitaine, absolutely
Long
right.
hair, yes.
The point is, Louis VII was very religious, and the monks got to him, and he cut that hair off. He looks rather good there, but apparently he cut all his hair off, and she was furious at it.
Oh, right.
So cross that eventually she divorced him. I mean, there are other things too, probably, but the hair is mentioned by historians as
He
one
also
of the
cut
things...
his cock off.
That... maybe, I don't know, his mother may have sold her...
Has your mother sold a mangle?
Maybe that had happened, yeah.
I divorce you.
But the consequences of the divorce were enormous, because she then went over, she was incredibly rich, she took her kingdoms with her, married Henry II, and it began the 100 Years' War.
Yes.
So essentially it was a haircut that began a 100 Years' War.
Yeah, but that's just something you say in polite company. Like when you telling people you breaking up with your partner, you go, yeah, well, I ain't like what he did with his hair, so I left. You can't really say about King, he keep farting in bed. I just don't like his haircut.
Yeah. You're right. What is interesting about this poor King is he definitely wouldn't have had sexual relations with Eleanor's mother because he was very abstinent indeed, and he became ill, and the courtiers suggested it was because he hadn't had sex. Yeah. And so he consented to have the Queen sent for, and they said, no, she's too far away. If you don't have sex immediately, you will die. But genuinely being told that he had to have sex or he would die, he actually said he would rather die chaste than live an adulterer.
See, that leads you to believe that he had a bad sexual experience as a child.
Yes.
Yes. And just, you know, because, you know, most men wouldn't rather, like, face death than have sex. So something happened when he was a kid, maybe a teenager, maybe his wee-wee got caught in the zipper, or he mangled, or...
Yes, the mangle.
Or he said, I'm not ready for this yet, maybe just let me lick your elbow. And the woman just said, do what you do best. And...
Very good. The Simpsons make a reference to the 100 Years' War.
Oh, do they?
Do you know what they call it? Operation Speedy Resolution. Anyway, so we've all had bad hair days, but the one which helped start the 100 Years' War takes some... What was unique about Good Friday, 1930, that urgently required 10 minutes of light piano music?
Did Jesus come back, change his mind, and they had to fill in?
No, it was a news
drunk.
programme, but instead of news, they played 10 minutes light music. Why would that be?
Because something had happened?
Quite the opposite.
Nothing had happened?
Nothing had happened.
And no news today?
An announcer came on and said, ladies and gentlemen, there's no news tonight, so here is some music. Absolutely true. Absolutely true. Yeah.
There was no news.
Nothing.
Well, in fact, we've tried to check what did happen, and aside from football matches, in India there was the start of what was called the Chittagong Rebellion, but which 700 youths attacked the telegraph office and disconnected all communications in the city of Chittagong. But that didn't happen until 10 o'clock. It was too late for the news in London. So there was no news, it seems.
They probably didn't have traffic reports.
They wouldn't have had traffic.
And here we go live to the camera at Hanger Lane.
Yeah.
And there's a bloke on a bike.
Norks, I wouldn't give you much chance of getting home before 6 o'clock, and that's a fact.
You better call up your maid and butler and tell them to put something in the oven.
But that's it. I mean, local papers have to deal with no news every week. They still write the paper every week. My favourite ever, when I used to live in Sheffield, the Sheffield Star, was my favourite ever headline: Workshop man dies of natural causes.
Fantastic. Oh, that's bliss.
But what about the story of the giant microphones invading the BBC?
They were hushing that one up.
The incredible shrinking announcer.
What's quite interesting about digestive biscuits?
Well, it's a hard-working biscuit, the digestive. You know, you put cheese on it. There goes chocolate on it. It's a base for cheesecake. It really is a sort of Renaissance biscuit. It's a great dunker. It's a very, very hard-working biscuit. But have you ever noticed that there is a slightly fishy taste about a digestive?
What have you been dunking them in?
So who have you been dunking them in?
Lord. We're in the world of misnomers, but things that are wrongly called.
Do they give you wind?
They were called digestive because they were supposed to be an anti-flatulent biscuit when they were designed in the 19th century. No, that's right. In America, it's...
You better have one of these. Sorry.
Maybe you stuffed it up, I don't know. But
I'd like to see an advert for this flatulence biscuit. Hey, try it, fantastic.
We're heading right back down the diarrhea highway again.
Welcome to the United Kingdom, Mr. The fact is, they are not aids to digestion. In America, it is illegal to call them digestives.
Of course, in America, do you know what we're talking about? Cookies.
Yeah.
Yes. Right, which is from the Dutch.
Kukje, meaning a cake, which is why you call them cookies. Because what you call a biscuit is more like what we would call, I don't know, a kind of scone thing. You have biscuits and gravy. Explain to the ladies and gentlemen what that is.
Oh, traveller from an arcane land.
What do your people eat?
Everything.
Well, that's the
biscuits,
way,
biscuits is made from self-rising flour, and then they just slop gravy over it, and it just takes up room on the plate.
Right. And it's a breakfasty thing or a lunchy thing? Or?
It depends on what trailer park you live in. Sometimes it's 3 meals a day.
Fair enough. Well, 450 digestive biscuits are baked every second in the United Kingdom.
Really?
Yeah.
They are truly the mule of biscuits.
They certainly are.
The last words of General Sedgwick in the wilderness of Spotsylvania.
He hasn't got a mouth. So there weren't any words at all, unless he wrote them down.
In a convenient bubble that he carried around with him.
Maybe had a little notebook of bubble-shaped things. And he just
I'll tell you that the year is 1864. What war was going on then?
Franco-Prussian War.
That was a tiny bit later.
The 100 years, 30 years, 25 years.
Civil, American Civil War.
The American Civil War. So we're
American
talking
Civil
about
War.
a... Yeah, well done. Thank you for cutting that
The
off.
American Civil War.
It is the American Civil War. That was not, however, the question.
Spotsylvania, near to Pennsylvania.
It's Virginia, in fact. It's in the state of Virginia. He was actually with 100,000 of his own men. He was a part of the Union, the Yankee Army, facing 52,000 Confederate troops.
Ooh.
And they were just getting ready for the battle. And there were snipers.
Was he saying easy?
Almost that equivalent. It was hubris. It was one of the most extraordinary last words ever
This will be over
spoken.
in 5 minutes.
We'll be back in time for Deal or No Deal.
Let me tell you now that you could have played your elephant cards.
Well, I will then.
Nah.
Too late.
He actually said, why are you dodging like this? They couldn't hit an elephant at this distance. And he was shot under the left eye and fell down dead without finishing the word distance.
Ooh, you'd be annoyed, wouldn't you? You'd be livid. You'd be shot in the eye, that's annoying to start with. And you look a fool.
Exactly.
Cheered up the troops, though, I'd imagine. They found that... They probably found that irony quite funny, as that...
Troops will. They have that sort of sense of humour.
They do, don't they? The lower orders.
He was known as Uncle John. He was very popular. Ulysses S. Grant mourned his death, said it was worse than the loss of a division. He was the highest-ranking Union officer of any kind to die in the war.
Do you think famous last words are accurate? Because I think they lie a lot of the time. It's always something incredibly witty. Like, you know, dying, that's the last thing I shall do. Whereas, in fact, I imagine they said that about 4 days before they died, and the last thing they said was, nurse! Nurse, it's happening again, I'm scared!
You're probably right. No one got either their elephant point. It may not be the only elephant bonus this
Let's
this
hope
game.
not.
I think you'd spent your elephant bonus at the very start.
Well, that's true. There are extra points if you can tell me. I mentioned Ulysses S. Grant, the great general of the Union Army. What did the S stand for?
Sausage.
I'd so like to tell you that that was
Simon, Stephen, Stephanie, Simone, Spanky, Spanky Grant,
Sugar tits.
Sugar tits.
You can see, I mean, the S works. Sugar tits didn't work at all. Follow me, man. All right, sugar tits.
No, actually, the S in Ulysses S. Grant stood for nothing at all. Who can you see here? Let's have a look. It was filmed in 1902. Who's the august gentleman in the beard?
Is George V. No, isn't it? It's Edward VII.
It looks exactly like Edward VII. Yeah. On the other hand, it isn't.
It's not Edward VII.
No, I know it looks so like
Father Christmas.
And it took place in 1902, which was the year of Edward VII's coronation. You could have played a spend a penny bonus, but I'll let you get extra points if you can spot the lavatory attendant in this.
Is he going to the lavatory in the film?
It's the man sitting down in the throne. The man you thought was Edward VII is, in fact, a lavatory attendant.
He doesn't look so much like Edward VII.
No, that's because he's in profile now.
I see.
He did look a bit like him full on.
It's not HD either, is it?
No, it's not HD. It's the early days of cinema, and the early days of cinema were dominated by one nation more than any other, really, and they were...
France.
The French, yes, exactly, the French. And in 1902, a French filmmaker called Georges Méliès decided to film the coronation, but he wasn't allowed in Westminster Abbey as soon as they heard how loud the film camera was when it was being cranked. So they said, we will have none of that nonsense here. So he decided to restage it in France and in a studio. And he found this lavatory attendant who had a nice beard, who was the right size, big adipose deposit, tubby chap, in other words. And he basically went through all the, you know, elements of the coronation as happened. And so it was the first filmed simulacrum of a coronation, but it wasn't the real thing. In fact, Edward was ill for the real day, so he was able then to go to England and film the carriages arriving and cut that into the footage. And so that was the only real part. The rest of it was made up. And
what was the catering like?
Probably wonderful if it was French, I should imagine.
Yes.
What else? Oh, yes, the film went more smoothly than the real thing. In the actual ceremony, the very elderly and almost blind Archbishop of Canterbury put the crown on backwards. He then couldn't get up.
Put it on at all. Larking about.
Yeah. He also had to kneel down to swear fealty to the king, and then he couldn't get up again. So the king had to help him up.
Well, that's what royalty should be, a blind Archbishop of Canterbury and a great big fat king who keeps getting terrible constipation and being unable to turn up at his own coronation.
Exactly. But the film, you'd be pleased to know, was a huge success. It briefly made that lavatory attendant one of the most famous film stars in the world. In 1902, there weren't many to compare him with, but he was huge.
He was one of the biggest film star of the world.
Yeah, exactly. And the king saw it when it came out, and he enjoyed it hugely, apparently, according to a letter sent to us by Pauline Méliès, who is the great-great-granddaughter of the filmmaker. Thank you, Pauline, for sending us that.
Do you think Edward thought it was real? He looked at it and said, I think I've lost weight.
Possibly. So, in which year did the Second World War end?
1945.
No, what a pity. Who was the war between and against?
Germany and Britain.
Germany.
America,
now, what happened? There was a peace accord of Paris in 1947, but where was Germany? There was no Germany, was there?
Well, there was.
There were two.
So it ended in 1990 when you unified Germany.
Is the right answer when Germany became one country again. 3rd of September 1990. And that is officially when the war ended against Germany, because Germany didn't exist until then again. I know it's weird, but it's technically true.
Bloody silly, and I lost 20 points for it.
The notorious pirate Blackbeard has just given me a map. What does the X mark?
The spot.
If anything, I suppose he gave me, maybe it would be his signature, because he probably can't write. Most pirates couldn't. But the fact is, there is no case in history that anyone knows of pirates burying treasure and drawing maps with X's on. It all comes from
Treasure Island.
Treasure Island by Robert Louis Stevenson. Why would a pirate want to bury treasure? I mean, you know, it should stop the other pirates getting it. Yeah, but he's got to spend it. That's
They can hardly go to Bradford and Bingley, can they? A chest full of doubloons and booty. Yes, would you like fixed term or extended interest?
Oh, God, I went to the Bradford and Bingley and got stuck behind a bloody pirate. I was there for my whole lunch hour.
I have 20 Portuguese ore.
That's why they brought in those pens on the chains, because they couldn't get it with a hook. They'd be like that, and they couldn't. So they just hook the pen, it would go like that, and then you just do this.
Yeah, there are a lot of myths about pirates. There's no known pirate to have
Man's face is the colour of a strawberry. That's incredible.
What, you know who that is?
No, I don't.
Right, it's Robert...
Newton. Robert Newton, yeah, who really invented pirate speak.
Yeah.
Jim Lad.
That's
Robert
all
Newton.
from him.
In fact, Tony Hancock's career started as a Robert Newton impersonator. That's what Tony Hancock did. That was his act. There's an International Talk Like a Pirate Day, isn't there, in September?
Somalian.
Somalian?
I met a kid from Somalia.
Yeah?
He came up alongside me on his push bike. He said, "You is on TV, innit? You is on TV, innit?" And I said, yes, nice to see you. Don't walk away, you've got to help me get into TV.
And I said, OK, well, how do I get in? I said, well, you know, join your local drama group. I don't know what I said to him. He goes, I'm Somalian, but I can do Eritrean.
There may be a demand for that, you know, somewhere.
I said, I'll see what I can do. I'll speak to the producers of Jonathan Creek.
On that bombshell, pirates very rarely buried treasure. They preferred to spend it, and they never once used a map with an X on it to help them locate it. Where did Queen Victoria get her ice from? She liked ice. She liked ice in her drink.
But would it come down the Thames? Would it come down the Thames?
It was imported, I'll tell you that.
From icebergs?
Not from icebergs, no. For a time, it was the most famous lake in the world because it provided ice for the royal families and the rich of all of Europe, and its name was synonymous with ice before electrical and mechanical refrigeration allowed us to make ice ourselves. And it was called Lake Wenham, and it still exists, Lake Wenham. It's now a reservoir outside Boston, Massachusetts. There was a man called Tudor who had the brilliant idea of chopping it all up. There it is, all being chopped up and sent to Britain. And there was a shop in the Strand that had a huge block of ice in it. And they had a newspaper behind the ice to show its clarity, and crowds would gather around. You could read the newspaper through the clear ice. And it was the wonder of the age. And obviously you had to be very rich to afford it because it had come a long way. But it would last a long time. And it was Lake Wenham ice. Wow. It's a good bit of American enterprise. There you are.
I bet he was pissed off the day they invented the refrigerator.
I'm sure he was. They tried to suggest that frozen lake ice was actually better for you. What animals did the Carthaginian general Hannibal use to defeat King Eumenes of Pergamon in 184 BC?
Elephant.
No. He used to defeat who? King Eumenes of Pergamon.
Right. Him.
Him, there he is.
Is he defeated?
Horses,
not
tigers,
horses.
lions, leopards, mice.
Bacteria.
Snakes.
Snakes.
Put lots of snakes
Not
in earthenware
really.
jars.
I don't think of that as an animal, really.
Well, and put them in earthenware pots, threw them at the enemy onto their ships.
Really?
Yeah.
What a great idea.
Snakes on a plane was almost the first example of it. How did Snakes on a Plane come about? Do you know?
Snakes on a plane.
Yes, the film.
People had more money than sense, and
maybe. No, supposedly it was a group of scriptwriters sitting around trying to think up the stupidest name,
Really?
like a pub game, and someone said Snakes on a Plane, and they said, you know, that's so crap, it's good.
It would be scary to be on a plane with lots of snakes, though. I mean...
Yes, it would.
I like the film.
Is
It's
it
quite
good?
scary.
The key would be whether the mechanism, the plot that leads to the snakes being on the plane is believable or not.
Well, they get out of a thing in a hold.
Oh, well, that sounds all right to me.
Yes.
And they're snakes, so they can get through tiny
They come up
gaps.
the loo.
Whoa!
They might well do.
Ooh, anyway, yes. Hannibal defeated the Pergamese by bombing them with pots full of snakes. Which war killed the highest proportion of British soldiers?
The American War of Independence. Good guess.
yeah.
English Civil War.
The English Civil War is the correct answer.
Because everybody killed in the English Civil War was British.
Well, that's absolutely right.
So they must be.
Plus, it was an exceptionally bloody conflict
very
anyway.
violent.
And the population of the country was quite small.
And all anybody knows about it is the hairstyles. All anybody says, oh, it's Roundheads and Cavaliers. And you think, yeah, that's it, really. One lot looks like the Grumbleweeds, the other lot like Lawrence Llewellyn Bowen, so it all kicks off. That man's got a wooden leg and riding side saddle.
Apparently, 90% of Britons cannot name a single battle of the English Civil War. 80% do not know which English king was executed by Parliament. And 67% of schoolchildren have never heard of Oliver Cromwell.
Good.
As a royalist, do you think his name should be buried?
No, he's a dreadful man.
He was a
truly, truly horrible, one of the most horrible people ever to have walked the land.
But you wouldn't know that if you didn't know about
He
it.
did terrible damage being a Puritan. He wrecked all our beautiful churches because he ripped away all the iconography and graven images and replaced them with the giant thermometers that you can still see to this day.
So how many British people died in the Civil War, then?
85,000 on the battlefield, another 100,000 dying of their wounds afterwards. People who really suffered were the Irish, of whom it's estimated half the population were decimated by the great Cromwell. And it's an example, a friend told me, who works at the Foreign Office, that dear Robin Cook, when the Labour Party came to power, and we're going to be all ethical, we're going to be all good, they took down some picture in the Foreign Office of a Nepalese prince because they thought it was all imperialist, which deeply offended the Nepalese government. And they put up this big portrait of Cromwell, you know, Republican, you know, sort of lefty figure. And the first meeting they had was with the Irish government. Took one look, and it was like showing Eichmann to the Israeli ambassador. In the 7 years between 1642 and 1649, in the period known as the English Civil War, a staggering 1 in 10 of the adult male population died. Who succeeded Harold as King of England in 1066?
Is there a trick to it?
No, it's just you need to name the person who succeeded Harold as king in 1066.
Well, was it the
Don't
bastard?
trust him.
The trick is to know. The trick is to know the answer.
I don't trust you at all.
Is it the bastard, then?
Who's the bastard? Oh, dear. Oh, it was not a trick.
Did England cease to exist in some way, or was it changed in name?
There was another Saxon claimant who was nominally king for 45 seconds or something.
Well, for a few months.
Right.
Yes. Edgar Atheling. And he was 15 years old. But Saxon kings were... How did you become a king if you were Saxon?
Did you have to be sort of
You had to be
nominated?
from one of the 5 or 6 families, and then you'd be elected. Yeah.
It's like the
By what? By votes? They
Yes.
would vote for you?
Yes. Edgar the Atheling. He was 15 years old, but of course William had won the battle, and so he came after him and he tried to fight. He couldn't raise an army, he went abroad, you know, didn't really live
Well,
a
he's
very
15,
successful life.
so he wouldn't have been able to do anything, would he, really?
Edgar the Atheling was proclaimed king by the English after the death of Harold and reigned for 2 months before William was crowned. Who was Britain's first Prime Minister? Team, panel, friends.
Wasn't it Walpole?
Walpole? Oh, no.
Shame on you. No, it wasn't.
Lord Snooty.
Pitt.
Ah, but you meant the younger. Yes, you meant the
Pitt
younger.
the elder was a tree, wasn't he?
Was it some sort of king that proclaimed himself the Prime Minister before he handed over power?
No, he was a politician. It was in the last
Oliver
century.
Cromwell?
Oh, it was 100 years ago, almost exactly, that he became Prime
Israeli.
Minister. 100 years ago. Oh, well, never mind. No. 100 years ago would be 1905, wouldn't it?
This show favours people who know stuff.
No, it's so unfair.
Someone like Rosemont MacDonald?
No, he was a bit later. 1905 to 1908.
Campbell Bannerman.
Henry Campbell Bannerman. Well done, thank you, absolutely. Henry Campbell Bannerman. He's not perhaps the best known of our Prime Ministers, but he ought to have
He was one of triplets as well.
He was actually a very good Prime Minister. He introduced old age pensions, he fought for the poor.
He was the first Prime Minister. What were they called?
They were called First Lord of the Treasury before that. He was the first one to be called Prime Minister.
First Lord of the Treasury?
Yeah, they're still First Lords of the Treasury if they're Prime Minister, but they're Prime Minister and First Lord of the Treasury. Now, before they were simply... They used the word Prime Minister sometimes as an insult, but they were never called Prime Minister until 1905.
What was Ethelred the Unready?
He was a king. Yes. His last words, Henry Campbell Bannerman, were, "This is not the end of me." The term Prime Minister was first officially used in 1905, just 5 days after Campbell Bannerman became one. And Sir Robert Walpole, generally recognised as the first de
One of the least effective spies, Britain's Michael Bettany, hired by MI5 in 1982. He once tried to dodge a ticket on a train while drunk, and when a guard chased him, he shouted, "You can't arrest me, I'm a spy."
So easy to overestimate the efficacy of the double bluff, isn't it?
Yes. Well, he later tried to get in touch with the KGB to sell them some documents, and the KGB thought they were being set up, and they informed MI5 of his treachery. So he was just all rubbish.
Look, that is the worst Buddy Rabbit you've ever seen.
Probably the worst spying operation happened in 1940, and this is one of my favourites. A dozen German spies landed in Britain, and they were all caught almost immediately. One walked into a pub and asked for a pint of cider soon after 9 o'clock in the morning. They weren't allowed to serve alcohol before lunch.
Half a litre of cider?
Straight away, please. Another couple were stopped while cycling through Scotland on the wrong side of the road, and when they looked in their bags, they found to contain German sausages and Nivea hand cream. And I
What a combination!
I know!
It's 9 o'clock in the morning! I've had a cider, Hans.
British soldier would have hand cream, but it turns out Nivea's German. I didn't know that. Is it? It's German.
Oh.
One of them spoke no English at all, but the one who spoke English the best said his mission was to find out how the people is living, how many soldiers there are, and all the things.
Really, I love it like it was a documentary, basically.
There are some people who think they were deliberately sent by senior German officers to sabotage the plot because they didn't want to invade Britain. But,
That's the Germans for you. At the time. A lot of them have mended their ways since.
no, a lot of them For our friends in Berlin, Richard's address is...
Now, what should you do if you see a Spartan with a smart new hairdo? There is one. It's slightly Boris Johnson, but it's a Spartan. It's a very handily placed scabbard, though.
Well, I can't see the
paper going, we'll just move that. If you give them a wide berth, do they have their hair cut before combat?
I'm going to have to give you all those points. That is exactly right. Yeah. Before the Battle of Thermopylae, the Persians made an enormous mistake, and one of their spies who'd gone to the Spartan camp said, oh, they're all Ed and Nancy boys. I've just seen them perfuming and doing their hair. We're going to win.
So, you go anywhere tomorrow, then?
Yeah.
Oh, yes, I'm going to battle. Oh, that's not who you get to.
Yeah, that's right.
all the Persians, oh, yeah, they're a nasty lot. We should go with...
What they did...
Over Thermopylae, I said, oh, I'm not supposed to know. Oh, no, I wouldn't tell anybody.
What the Persians didn't know is that when the Spartans did their hair, it meant they were fighting to the death. They were prepared to die. They were preparing their bodies for mortal combat.
Who's going to notice your haircut anyway when you're running with your junk hanging out like that?
I've never been called junk before, but
Put on some pants before you go into battle.
some fighting pants.
Yeah.
The best fighting pants. What else do we know about the Spartans?
They're really good in that film, 300. Very erotic.
Yes.
Quite camp, actually.
Very camp. Oddly enough, it could have been camper because in the actual historical fact, those 300 Spartans were accompanied by 700 thespians.
Yes. Oh, really?
Yeah.
Let's do the show here!
It ain't half hot, man.
Yeah, exactly.
Lovely boy, lovely boy.
You waste of space, what is you? And all that. But
Lordy-dog, got a grey
Mr. Lordy-dog, got a grey hump.
Were they all very different? These city-states, was it sort of stereotyping? They said, all those Spartans are like that, the Athenians are like that, or were they genuinely run on very different lines?
I think they were run on different lines. I mean, as you know, the Spartans and the Athenians eventually went to war, and sadly for most of us who loved classical civilization, it was the Spartans who won, who were the least interested in art and harmony and music and mathematics and logic and politics. They were a warlike race. It's a bit like as if the Klingons beat the Vulcans in the world of Star Trek. And it's sort of... That is what kind... Yeah, it would be. And that's basically what Star Trek is kind of based on. It's unthinkable, Stephen. I know. Can you imagine such a thing?
Or the Daleks.
Yeah. Yeah. A warrior people.
Or Britain beating France or something.
Yes. Do you know the word laconic?
I don't know, is it from Star Trek?
Why was King Charles XIV of Sweden ashamed of his tattoo?
It's Dudley Moore, isn't it?
Charles XIV of Sweden.
Well, of course, Bernadotte, one of Napoleon's
the right
generals,
answer.
went to become king of Sweden.
He did.
And did Charles XIV, was that Bernadotte?
It was.
And he had a tattoo, I love Napoleon, on his arm.
No. He wasn't appointed by Napoleon. He was actually appointed by the ailing Charles XIII. Napoleon regarded it as a joke. But Bernadotte had been a young revolutionary, a Jacobin. And he had a tattoo that said, death to kings, as a young man. Wow. Then he was adopted by the old king of Sweden, Charles XIII, became Charles XIV. Yes. And was incredibly successful and completely backed away from France, had an alliance with England,
the Great
with
Coalition.
Russia, invaded Norway, became king of Norway as well. And the Bernadotte family still rules Sweden. Yeah. They are still the kings.
It's very confusing, that period, because, I mean, Napoleon had Irish generals. He even had a Scottish general.
Yeah.
You know just because you came from somewhere, you didn't have to fight for their army.
No.
Why was Sir Billy Butlin such a little devil?
Holiday camps.
Butlin's holiday camps? Yeah. Minehead, Scarborough, Filey...
Skegness.
Yep.
Well, the chalet's little.
So, no, but Billy Butlin himself...
Was he tiny?
He was. And if you think about the age he is, you might be able to work this out.
Second World War?
No.
First World War.
First World War. That's the generation he was. And in the First World War, they had something to make people fight, which was called...
Bromide.
No. It was a law.
Oh, because...
Conscription, yes. But one of the things that could get you out of being conscripted was that if you were...
Tiny.
If you were small.
Did he pretend to be bigger to...
No, he, as it were, fell under a particular desperation that the British Army...
Did they start a short army?
Yes,
like the...
they literally did. Lord Derby, the Earl of Derby, said, now, hang on, there are a whole load of short people, as it were, getting under the wire. And all these tall people are fighting and dying for us. We want more people to die for us. There simply aren't enough people dying. And all these short people are living. So we're going to have a short brigade. And they were known as the Bantams, the Bantam Brigade. They were. I know.
Presumably quite good. You could play on the opposition's or, the opposing army's sense of perspective.
Yeah.
Some way, you're like...
Those soldiers are really far away.
They have edges.
These were men under 5'3", and Billy Butlin was one of them. They became known as the Devils, in fact, the Devil's Dwarfs, because they were so... their reputation for brawling and mischief. They were very, very aggressive. Here they are being inspected by a splendid man in a moustache. And
German shin injuries up 75%.
Our legs are being shot away from us. We do not know why.
Do you think they should have just put them on each other's shoulders in a long coat?
Oh, yeah. The most famous of them was called Henry Thridgold, who was only 4'9", and he was believed to be the shortest soldier ever to have served in the British Army. There he is next to quite a tall Scottish soldier. But that's a short chap, but chirpy and cheerful and ready to lay down his life for our country.
I hope you shake hands with him.
Hey, now.
That's given my husband and I a whole new avenue for bedroom role play.
You be Henry, and I'll be a Scots Guard.
Well, there you are. So next time you go on a Butlins holiday, you can say, well, thank you, Billy, for putting your life at risk, despite the fact that you weren't as tall as most soldiers.
And he survived.
He survived in order to create these holiday camps. Yeah.
With tiny beds.
With...
What's sticky and well worth stealing?
A friggin' nice stick. I don't...
Wow!
But like a good stick, like the best stick you've ever seen.
OK, you said stick. I thought you said something else entirely.
Wow. You're not going to avoid... Stick.
Stick.
A stick.
Sorry, I...
Stick?
Yeah.
Wait, hang on. I'm having an identity crisis.
No, it's fine.
No, you said stick.
Friggin' nice
Did you say stick?
I agree that when my son, if we go for a walk, he finds the best sticks, and he will hold on to that stick to a point. My wife won't let them in the house, these sticks, so they've been outside. So he will leave it on the doorstep, and the next morning, when his stick is still there, it's like the PlayStation 5 has been delivered. It's like a box to a kitten, a stick to a kid.
Wait till you get him a toy.
I know.
Ah, there's a bloody forest out there. Help yourself, mate.
Yeah.
Toys are us.
It's a weapon, it's a friend, it's a companion.
Exactly.
I love
Rose knows.
that.
Like a stick.
She knows.
OK.
Yeah.
I've forgotten what the question was. So sticky and worth stealing.
Jam.
Sort of. It's kind
I'm going to say Post-its, because you don't ever buy that kind of thing, do you? You just steal that from
just
work.
from the office.
Oh, yeah, that's good.
That's the problem with the work I do. I never go to an office.
Yeah.
Stationery stealing.
Be a good idea.
What's that?
For a website where you could buy some stuff, but there was a shoplifty corner.
That's such a good idea.
And if you avoided being detected by a couple of windows and you could get into the shoplifting room, you could nick a couple of things and get away with
That's
it.
such a... Let me write this down. I'm so sorry.
Because the fun of nicking something is gone at the moment, isn't
Have
it?
you
No one's
shoplifted?
nicked anything for ages.
I've never shoplifted in my entire life, though. Have you shoplifted?
Oh, God.
Oh, yeah.
Really?
Oh,
Yeah.
I haven't.
Are you
As a schoolboy, it was an absolute rite of passage.
Oh, my God.
I remember I had friends who had an aquarium and they'd go in the pet shop and just get weeds out of the fish tank.
I stole a Kinder Egg when I was about 13. I felt so guilty that I actually took it back the next day and put it back on the...
Alice, have you shoplifted?
They should...
I think you know the answer to this. I'm
Alice.
such a goody two-shoes. I haven't. But
So the three women have not shoplifted. I'm just putting it out there.
Rose has committed many crimes.
I committed fraud. I've been to jail for fraud. But that's a clever physical one.
Were you the person at school who got other people to nick stuff for you?
100%.
You had people like that.
A real
Go
racket.
in there and get me something.
Yeah.
Or if you don't, I'm going to beat the
Rose
crap
went
out of
straight
you.
for Ponzi scheme. $200 billion Ponzi, 100%.
OK, so we are going for something sticky, but it's something you could put on pancakes.
Oh,
Syrup? Maple syrup?
Maple syrup. So, over several months, from 2011 to 2012, there was a group of thieves, and they stole 3,000 tonnes of maple syrup from Canada's global syrup reserves, aren't we? Who's not glad that those exist, right?
Oh my God.
It became known, and I love this title, the Great Maple Syrup Heist.
Oh, good
I know.
Good name.
Does what it says on the tin.
What should we
literally.
call it?
Yeah,
Incredible.
No, exactly.
I feel like there have been other heists, but they just stole a sachet or something.
No,
so
When does it become a heist?
When it's enormously valuable. This is the most valuable heist in the whole of Canadian history. So Canada produces 80% of the world's maple syrup. 90% of that comes from Quebec alone, and they have a strategic reserve of about 160,000 or more barrels, which are worth $1,800 each. Okay, it's quite a lot of money.
Oh.
And this is controlled by a group called the Federation of Quebec Maple Syrup Producers, the FPAQ.
Great bunch of lads.
I know,
Yeah.
such fun at parties.
They sound like a laugh.
And they keep control of the supply. And the reserve is only checked once a year. So the thieves went into the place, and what they did was they systematically removed some barrels, temporarily replaced them with empty ones, siphoned out the syrup, refilled them with water, and replaced them. Perfect crime, OK? Because
Yeah.
nobody knew until a syrup inspector. I mean, the job of dreams, I think.
Wow, isn't it?
A syrup inspector went and had a look, climbed on a stack of barrels and nearly fell because of the empty ones weren't strong enough to take his weight.
Oh.
And he raised the alarm, and in total 9,000 or more barrels had been emptied of maple syrup, worth $18 million.
Ring the alarm bell.
when is Guy Ritchie going to make that film?
I know.
I want to see Jason Statham doing a Canadian accent.
Yeah.
Floating in a tank of syrup.
Just return to the 19th century and think about false teeth. Now, what were false teeth made of in those days?
Wood.
Wood was used, supposedly.
Abraham Lincoln had wooden
Washington, well,
false teeth.
yes,
And
indeed.
he would fall asleep in Congress or wherever they sit. And they were sprung-loaded, these things, so if you relaxed your jaw, the spring would fire them out of your
That's
mouth.
absolutely right. They did.
Leap out.
They did have springs in France, in particular. There are holes in their gums, so they would sort of hang the tooth on it.
I was looking at my granny the other day and I had a really good idea, OK? This is what I'm going to pitch when I go on Dragon's Den, is to create some dentures that clamp shut every time they sense racism coming out. It'd be brilliant, wouldn't it? As soon as you start...
So as soon
you
as
get through a lot of Christmas.
I've got nothing against them personally, but...
I think the word "but" would be the key. Would be the trigger word.
It's
It
the
would
but.
be. I'm not racist, but.
Yeah.
Teeth is the answer.
Well, yes, exactly.
I think they used teeth.
They did use teeth,
And
but
people
whose
used
teeth
it-
could they use?
What? Only the. Did poor people sell their teeth?
Yes, poor people did sell
And
their
also,
teeth.
I think dead people.
Dead people, but a very particular kind of dead person. You were not allowed to rob a grave. But
Are we not?
Not a grave, no. So there are other places where you might... I know, it's disappointing.
I'm in a lot of trouble.
There are other places where you might find too many dead bodies of healthy young men, usually, who might have good teeth.
Battlefields.
Battlefields is the right answer.
Oh, how
what
depressing.
became known as Waterloo teeth. It became almost your patriotic duty, if you lost a tooth, to fit in that of a dead soldier from Waterloo. There were these scavengers who went around the battlefields pulling
Taking
out
the
the
teeth
teeth
out.
of the dead bodies and selling them back in barrels, and people would buy them and fit them into the holes where their teeth were. And
Barrels
use
of teeth. How many people died in this battle?
Well, thousands died in
Barrels.
Waterloo.
Wow.
Yes, and each head had 32 teeth in it. Yeah.
And the dead horses, their teeth were sent to the people from the Only Way is Essex.
Absolutely right. But right up until the American Civil War past the 1860s, they were called Waterloo teeth, even though, of course, that was, the Battle of Waterloo was in 1815, so it was, 45 years later. There's a story you may have come across in the newspapers not that long ago about a Polish dentist. Does that ring a bell? A female Polish dentist?
She got revenge on someone by...
Her lover left her.
And she took out all his teeth.
Her lover left her and then went to see her when he had... Stupid idiot, went to see her when he had toothache, and she anaesthetised him and took all his teeth out. But apparently, it was in all the newspapers, and it's absolute bollocks. Can you imagine? Something in British
took his
newspapers that
bollocks
isn't
off.
true? No.
What
I
I
think
should have done is taken all the teeth out and then made a little hole in his scrotum and put them all in there. just loose,
of course,
and then sewn it up again.
I have.
Yes, that is a much better idea. I think we can all agree she missed a great opportunity.
Now, here is another. It's Christmas, time for Her Majesty's speech, but what did people sing before there was a national anthem? God Save the King, when does that come from?
I imagine it's Victorian.
I don't think that God Save the King started in Victorian times. Because
No,
that...
no. That's a very good point.
Wasn't it be Rule Britannia? Well, they performed publicly in the same year. So God Save the King it was, first publicly performed in 1745. But there is a third patriotic song which is much older, used to be more popular than either of those things. It was called Britain's Strike Home. It was written by Henry Purcell in 1695 for a production of a play about... I don't know what we say anymore. Did we say Boudicca?
Yeah, Boudicca.
Boudicca is the way forward.
We still say Boadicea in Essex, where she lived.
I expect you've got it right. It was sung by a druid to whip up resistance against the Romans, and it used to be hugely popular, this song. The entire House of Commons sang it spontaneously in 1797 when war was declared by Pitt. It was played on board ship during the Battle of Trafalgar. The last recorded instance of it being played as a sort of patriotic rallying cry is December 1914. But it's since fallen out of public consciousness, so we've got a quick version performed by the Academy of Ancient Music. Have a listen to this.
Britain's strike home, revenge, revenge on country's wrongs. Fight, fight and record, fight, fight and record yourselves in new songs.
Do you like it? You come from a composing family.
In terms of kind of patriotic songs,
yeah,
I prefer Three Lions.
It was written in the kebab house. 3 in the morning. Fight! Fight!
OK, so we are all going to sing. Here we go. Strike home, revenge, revenge your country's wrongs. Fight, fight and record. Fight, fight and record yourselves in druid songs. That was really shit.
It felt like dinner at Nigel Farage's house.
On the subject of trousers, as a matter of fact, what's the best way of dealing with a wartime shortage of trousering?
Wow.
Yeah. I
ran
think
out
that's
of
just a
trousers?
serving suggestion there. I don't think that...
They ran out of trousers?
Well, they... Obviously, in the war, there was a shortage of material, and how did they deal with it? What's the first thing you would do to save material with trousers?
Put them in trenches.
You try and use less cloth in each trouser.
Yeah, exactly.
One-legged trousers.
In Scotland, you'd wear kilts to...
Or you take them off dead guys. The enemy.
Yeah. But no, generally, the first thing that they banned...
Oh, pleats and things like that.
Turn-ups.
Turn-ups? That saves about an inch of...
Out of a million?
Come on.
It's a lot of material. And they were so serious about this that if a tailor sold someone extra long trousers, longer than they needed, knowingly, really, so that the wife would then make him turn-ups, the tailor would go to prison.
What about older gentlemen who pull their trousers right up?
Yes, they do, up to the nipples,
Right up to the nipples there.
Yeah.
Why, now, first of all, what's going on there? Why don't they stop somewhere on the way?
They've got no pleasure in life left except to give themselves a wedgie every time.
Why don't they just pull their trousers right up to just under their eye?
Then they would save on shirtings.
They could have a really long fly. Like...
You're
That's an enormous fly. The fly must be about 2 feet long.
The time you've undone it, you've forgotten where you're...
Just zip there. Nurse!
Also, boys under 12 couldn't have long trousers, they had to have shorts. And, of course, women couldn't wear stockings, so what did they used to do?
Oh, they used to draw a seam on the... Oh, there they are.
There you
Drawing
are.
a seam on the back of their leg.
Yeah. Because they felt that if their legs were bare, it was considered that made them look available. I don't know if the boys in the shorts thought the same, but it was... firstly, they would stain their legs to make them look tanned with gravy browning and things like that. And then they would draw a line down the back, which looked like the seam on nylons. I mean, it seems crazy, but...
Why didn't the soldiers just draw pictures of trousers? I mean... I'm in pinstripe.
Brings us on bioluminescence to what comes from Glasgow and glows in the dark.
Is it Sir Alex Ferguson's nose?
Is it the River Clyde?
It's not the River Clyde, neither. We're talking about food.
Luminous food?
Yes, luminous food. It's an idea that comes from creatures like the anglerfish.
Is it a deep-fried Mars bar with a torch attached to it?
A deep-fried torch?
Well, you're in the right. You're in the right area with deep fried. What I believe you call carryouts are the food to go.
Yes.
What is the most popular food in Britain supposedly these days?
Chicken tikka masala.
Chicken tikka masala, which was invented in Glasgow, and there is one.
Oh, that's a particularly fine example.
That may be a used one that's been through the system. I have a horrible feeling.
Morag, get me a bed of rice.
Yes.
The children shall eat.
Well, there is a company called Biolume, which is planning to have food, including curry, that glows in the dark, using extracts of marine creatures that glow. And they want to make beer, in particular, that glows in the dark, children's fizzy drinks that glow in the dark. Chicken tikka masala is not something that exists in Bangladesh or in India. The story of it goes that there was a restaurant called the Gaylord in 1966. It was the first place to serve a proper chicken tandoori.
In Glasgow?
Rather popular.
Or London?
In London, Mortimer Street in London. And the story goes, somebody came into a restaurant in Glasgow where they were serving this new tandoori chicken and asked for some gravy to go on it. And the chef improvised with tomato soup and cream and spices. And up grew this strange creature that is chicken tikka masala, that has no definition, that can be hot, it can be mild, it can be brown, it can be orange, it can be grey. But according to Robin Cook, is the great British national
I have
dish.
to say, I had a curry once on the Isle of Man where I was doing a gig. It was served with a cup of tea and some bread and butter. It's fantastic, don't you?
Can I just mention that since we're being disparaging about the Scottish diet, that we don't all eat chips every night. Sometimes what we do is we'll have some chips and leave them aside till the morning, and we have them cold the next day, and that's a salad.
Deep-fried pizza is the and Mars bars.
It's a myth.
It's a myth.
Not a myth. The Mars bar as well. It happened once. He dropped his Mars bar. I'm not wasting that. He scorched his hand getting the wrapper off.
Thank you for watching.
This round is set in ancient Athens. The Greeks invented tragedy, comedy, geometry, philosophy, biology, democracy, history, prize-giving, persuasion, proof, punctuation, politics, boxing gloves, tightrope walking, and the steam engine. According to these geniuses, how do otters kill crocodiles? Yes.
Softly with their songs.
That's a very beautiful answer indeed.
Had a sort of lyrical quality to it.
It really did. Yes.
I think it must be more than one otter at work.
Yes.
Be an otter distraction. Lure them
That's an
onto
otter thing altogether.
dry land, pull the plug out.
That would be
Or choke them. Get in. You hold his jaws open, I'll choke him.
Well, it's not far.
That's closer, isn't it? Is it something to do with them waiting till they're asleep and actually climbing into them, just walking straight into them?
Well, do you know, you're not far off there, young Giles. It's, I'll tell you what it is. They actually believed that otters scampered into the open mouths of crocodiles and ate their entrails and then dashed out again when the crocodile had died.
The crocodile went, ah!
The Greeks had a lot of very good ideas, but this wasn't one of them, because it's not true. Another of their ideas, very popular in its day, but which hasn't lasted, was Raphanidzein. And it's the penalty for adultery, and it involved inserting a radish into the adulterer's bottom. Radishes were a lot longer, wider and pointier in those days and were hammered home with a mallet. Rafanidzein is therefore a verb meaning to insert a radish into the fundament.
You know, a radish is a meat. Well, no, I don't know if I mentioned that or not.
To insert meat into the fundament, there is another word for that. You don't need a special word for that.
It's an absurd punishment. I'd have thought, smacking them on the thumb with a mallet would be much... wouldn't it?
They were, after all, Greek, you see.
They didn't really mind homosexuality, though, did they?
They very much relished it. They certainly knew a thing or two about man-on-man action.
Now, when is it cool for a brother to bring a chick into a monastery?
Do they sort of have, you know, it's like on Christmas Day when, in the days of servants, the masters used to serve the servants. On Christmas Day in a monastery, all the rules are off, and it's, you know, time to shag everyone.
Any idea where that might be, that monastery? Do you know in the audience? Greece. They know. You see, Greece, good audience. It's Mount Athos. Mount Athos, which is described by many as the holiest place on earth. It contains 24 large monasteries and hundreds of small monasteries. It's only about 350 square kilometres.
It's like Travelodge have opened one in Narnia, isn't it? It's just like...
Comfortable living, fantasy prices. It does look a little forbidding, I grant you. No females of any species are allowed on Mount Athos. I mean, obviously they can't stop wild birds and stray cats, but no female animals, no female humans are allowed. Apparently because the Virgin Mary discovered the place and said, no woman shall set foot here after me. Prince Philip visited it with the Queen. The Queen had to stay in a boat 500 yards from the shore.
I dare say she was gutted to not be a juggy an idiot again. Oh, God, he's going to call him... Oh, what's he going to do now? Oh, no.
Well, for 1,000 years it's been like that. I mean, it's pretty astonishing, isn't it? But they do let in hens. Why would they let in hens?
Eggs.
Love an omelette.
But they prefer eggs to the jizz of the male hen.
You don't know monks very well, do you? They'd much prefer cock, I think. No, it's not actually to eat the eggs.
To mock them.
You make faces on them.
Yeah.
No, it's to use the yolk for mixing paints for icon painting.
So all their icons smell of egg.
Well, a lot of temper, a lot of that is a good thing for binding paint together. Right. It's been used egg yolk for a long, long time, apparently. So that's why they make an exception to their rule of no
So if you
females.
get trapped in a monastery and you can't find the fridge, yummy, yummy icons.
Yes. Absolutely.
Yeah, is it like that wallpaper in Willy Wonka where the different colours taste of different flavors? Oh, the snozberries, taste of snozberries. All the Jesuses taste of breakfast.
It's, in fact, featured lots of very useful inventions. But tell me, what has been called the wickedest, silliest, most insane and most disastrous book in world literature?
The Liar by Stephen Fry.
It probably is.
Mein Kampf.
Yeah. That would be a very sensible guess.
And in the interest of balance, the Da Vinci Code also.
Yes. These self-help books.
Yeah.
The books that say, if you just change the way you think, you'll be fine. I mean, you know, everyone's got a mood board for something. So maybe there was a medieval mood board of some kind, but yeah.
You're right to mention the medieval era, because it was a book of the 15th century.
Fox's Book of Martyrs.
No, that was a little later, but let me give you its title. Malleus Maleficarum. Maleficarum, I beg your pardon, because that's the point. If you know your Latin, that means malleus. If you take the US off and put a T from malleus...
Mallet.
Mallet. It's hammer. So malleus is hammer.
Timmy Mallet's autobiography. Sorry, I'm bringing the tone down. I know I am.
No, you're not. Is it the Malefic... Is that like the bad-doing hammer thing, you know?
Oh, that's the... of the... That's genitive. Come on, boy, that's
Come on.
genitive. So it's the hammer of the bad doing people, but the arum, not aurum, tells you it's bad...
Doing women.
Yes.
Oh.
Which...
Bad doing women and their hammer.
No.
The hammer of.
I want to be the hammer of
Yeah.
the bad. I want to beat them down.
The crazy witches of Eastwick.
Oh, really?
Witches!
Oh, witches!
You said it!
So
You said it, we got there.
We're supposed to hammer them.
Of the witches is what that means.
So it's not... They don't own the hammer.
No.
We own the hammer.
No.
And we hammer away at them.
I am more confused than when I talked about mini milk.
So, we had a Latin parsing essay, right, in which the Malleus Maleficarum turned out to mean the hammer of witches, the way to beat witches. And this was a textbook about how to destroy and find witches. Now, it was strange because it was mid-15th century. In the mid-15th century, the church banned belief in witches. So this wasn't a time of witch burnings or anything of the nature. But the very nature of the success of the book meant that a slow movement grew in which witches should be found and burned and tortured and so on. And this book was therefore called the silliest, most wicked book ever written, because it made appalling claims about women that, for example, that they dispossessed men of their penises.
As if.
They would take their penises, put them on a tray, and the penises would wander around of their own volition, eating oats and corn. No, not corn, not maize corn.
With a simple pecking motion. Or like with a suction. How would they do it?
What was the most dangerous military stratagem ever devised?
Vehicle reversing.
Was it Hannibal's first crack at the Alps with chihuahuas?
The purpose of this one was to terrify the enemy. Imagine you're in the front line of an army and you're massing against the front line of another army, and the front line of the opposing army does something so extraordinary that you think, oh, my God, we're never going to beat them.
Is it from a Carry On film? Is it when they lifted their, kilts and they didn't wear pants? It was amazing.
Carry On Braveheart. No, it's neither of those.
They flagellate themselves. They insert something within them.
They chop their own heads off.
They chop their own heads off.
The front line of the army chops their heads off. How you do that? Grab your hair and just slice with a very sharp sword.
Who was that, then? The Scots Guards?
This was in 496 BC.
It would be the Swiss army, because they'd have something on one of those little knives to do that, wouldn't they?
Self-decapitation.
It's a country you know well, and you're wearing its flag at the moment.
This is the flag of Vietnam.
Well, that's right. We're talking 496 BC, the army of King Gujian of Yue. And he had convicted criminals in the front line and told them they had to cut their own heads off. You may say, well, why would they do that?
What's the worst that could happen?
The worst that could happen is if they didn't, then all their families and all their children would be massacred as well.
It.
They didn't seem to worry. They knew they were going to die anyway. They were condemned to death. What do we know about decapitation? Does it kill you straight away?
I know if you cut a duck's legs off, it can still swim.
It can float, but it can't swim.
Floating
I'll leave a little bit of stumpage.
No. It wouldn't be able to, it would have to catch the currents. It would evolve into a whole different animal. It would probably get a wing up as a sail or something like that.
Didn't they discover, like, for example, at the French Revolution with the guillotine, that, like, heads could kind of, like, chat a bit
Carry on
after,
chatting.
So...
Well, no, you're right. There was a story during the terror of the French Revolution that two members of the National Assembly were guillotined and their heads put in the same bag straight away, and one bit the other so hard they couldn't be separated. What, just the heads?
That's holding a grudge, isn't it? For all intents and purposes, you're dead. Let it go. Yeah, you didn't get on. Whatever.
Now, what's the most thankless job in history?
It was being a mum, surely.
Don't try and get the mum vote.
We have to say thank you to Mum in our house. We won't get any biscuits.
What's the worst job you ever had, Alan?
I put the raisins into Fruit and Fibre.
Did you?
Yeah.
Did somebody else do the apple bits? You were only in charge of the raisins.
Yeah. They came in a big box. I didn't put them in individually. Wish I'd gone to school.
Anybody else? Terrible job?
I was once working at a record company and someone had a record out with a lyric in it that mentioned Mr. Potato Head. And so I was asked, as a promotional device, to carve faces into 100 potatoes.
OK, most thankless job in history comes from ancient China. So we're going to go back to 400 to 100 BC. And there were people called Yusha, and they were on a constant quest to rescue anybody in trouble and to help the poor. But they hated being thanked because they were too modest. In fact, it was part of their fundamental beliefs that you should never receive praise. So they are almost the equivalent of the knight-errants, which is what Don Quixote was.
But were they really modest, or were they like, no, please don't, please don't, please don't, please,
No, they had codes of chivalry. So there was one called Chuchia, and he saved hundreds of people's lives, but whenever anybody thanked him, he couldn't bear it. Even when he saved a king's life, he refused to ever see him again just in case he was thanked. It was absolutely part of who they were. There's a period of time in China, it's the 250-year period of warring states, and lots of dynasties were fighting for control. In the end, the dynasty called Qin finally won. That's Q-I-N, and that is where China gets its name from the Qin dynasty. So you can see this area down here on the left. That only lasted for about 15 years. But in these times of untrustworthy government, instability, people turned to these more self-sacrificing Yusha knights to dispense justice instead.
Which brings us back to Alan and maps.
What have I done?
Well, now there's a question for you. There's 100 points in this if you get it.
100 nectar points?
No. 100 points. If you can tell me which was the last place in Britain to convert to Christianity.
Oh. God, I know this. Oh. It's got... Any... No.
Go on.
The summit of Ben Nevis. Two guys.
Underground.
Aye, what's this Christianity?
Anything else on this side of the table?
Is it a place called Satan is My Master
It's pronounced Semster.
Is it now on the British mainland, or is it something going to be at the Falklands?
The Lake District.
No, it's not the Lake District. It is not on the British mainland.
Essex.
Not on the mainland.
I repeat, it is not on the British mainland.
Not on the British mainland?
Essex is not culturally on the British mainland, but...
The Isle of Man.
Oh!
Isle of Wight?
Yes!
No!
It's the Isle of Wight. Well done.
Clapping for. That was a total guess.
It was, of course.
Brilliant.
No, it's surprising because you would imagine, of course, that the Isle of Wight was about the first place the Christians would come to.
Wheels on the bus
The Needles.
Yes, darling, those are called the Needles. Very good. 1 point to you for knowing about the Needles. Top work. What do you know about the Isle of Wight?
All the clocks stopped in 1952, and all the shops are the same as they were then.
It does seem a little like that, doesn't it? Yes, there's one species of animal that's still...
Dog, cat, rat, mouse.
Hasn't made it to the Isle of Wight.
Horses.
No, there are horses on the Isle of Wight. But most people are rather pleased this animal hasn't made it, not a fox.
Flea.
Snake.
Oh, the rat, because of the magnet.
No, it's often called... Pigeons. It's often called a kind of rat, like pigeons are.
Mouse. Squirrel.
The grey squirrel. The grey squirrel.
All right, squirrel. Stephen.
Yes, I was going, yes.
Shut up, Bill. All right, squirrel. You made the point. Squirrel.
The grey squirrel. The North American grey squirrel.
Don't say squirrel.
The North American grey squirrel.
Well done, Alan. Very good. You're the first person to get that. No, Rob, I wouldn't do that to you.
This is an editing masterclass.
Little face.
Editing masterclass, you say? All right. The North American grey squirrel?
Red squirrel. The red squirrel can't live with the grey squirrel.
Ebony and Ivory are together on my piano keyboard, so why can't they be?
Yeah.
Something like that. Why
You
can't
mean
they?
a kind of squirrel fur keyboard?
Nice.
That's barbaric. Are you saying you want pianos clad in the pelt of a squirrel? If that's what you're saying, Fry, you should be stopped.
Isle of Wight was the last place in Britain to be invaded by the French, by a foreign
How
power.
did they miss that then?
Sorry?
How do they miss the other? Do they go onto the mainland and then straight up?
Oh, Christianity.
Yeah. And
Yes, I don't know. It's odd, isn't
when
it?
they came back, they went, hang on,
You've left this bit out.
worshipping Satan.
It was in 686 AD, almost a century after the rest of the country. Subjugated by Codwalla, who was king of the West Saxons and who had to kill most of the pagan population to Christianise it. Good old Christianity.
An easy one to start with. Strictly speaking, where does the phrase chariots of fire come from?
It's a film.
Where does it originate?
It's something to do with this.
Where does the phrase originate? It's a quotation.
It's a quotation.
From what?
Shakespeare. Must be Shakespeare.
No.
And, those chariots of
Well,
fire.
it's Jerusalem, the hymn Jerusalem.
You fell finally into our
Finally!
trap.
Oh, sorry, it's the
slightly
first question.
embarrassing how long it took you to get the wrong answer. Yes, I did start by saying strictly speaking. Strictly speaking, it comes from a poem by William Blake called...
Chariots of Fire.
No. I'm ashamed of you. You must know the first line of...
I must, but I can't be asked to tell you.
And
did
those
feet in ancient times.
Thank you. Finally, we got
Oh,
that.
I know that.
Yes. That's the name of the poem from which the line Chariots of Fire comes. The tune is called Jerusalem, and it's referred mistakenly as a hymn.
Thank you for starting in my key. Come on, England's
Come on! Bring, oh, clouds unfold. Yes, really what I'm after is, what does it mean?
What?
And whose feet?
Jesus, surely.
Right, so what is the story of Jesus coming to England?
Is there a film about it?
Yes.
And then
Not to my knowledge.
Well, then I'm in
The
trouble.
holy...
As they say, this is what people say now when they don't know the answer. They say, I'm out of my comfort zone.
You have been
Modern
the
euphemism.
equivalent of sitting on spikes for the last 10 years, Alan. Yet to discover your comfort zone. OK, listen, there is a legend that Jesus came to England and he was said to have gone to a particular place.
Was it
The
Glastonbury?
audience knows. Ah, thank you.
Glastonbury.
Glastonbury.
Yes.
Glastonbury tours. And he went with his uncle. What was his uncle's name?
Bob.
Uncle Bob Price.
Bob is your
They were more informal in those times, surely. Bob Price.
His uncle's name was the same as his father's name.
Joseph.
Joseph, and he was named after a place.
Is it like working with very slow children?
Thank you. Say it again so the camera can get it clearly.
Right. OK.
This is a new thing we're
hang on
doing.
a second. Hey! I was proposing my friend.
Joseph of Arimathea.
No, I said it. I said it. Joseph of Arimathea.
I'm going to throw cold water at you both in a minute. Yes.
Joseph of Arimathea.
Now.
Joseph of Arimathea.
It was the first ever Glastonbury Festival, if you will.
It was,
that
yes.
Jesus supposedly came with his uncle, Joseph of Arimathea, who is mentioned in the Gospels.
Right.
Although, it has to be said, Arimathea is only mentioned once, and that is in relation to the place Joseph came from. No one knows where it is, where it was, where it could have been. Anyway.
Could have been a falafel tent.
Who's the oldest man in the Bible?
Chimney,
Noah.
No, not Noah. He was quite old.
Methuselah.
I fell into the bear pit.
How old was Noah?
Noah was 950.
Older than Adam, then?
He was older than Adam, oh, yes. Adam was 930 years old.
How old was Methuselah?
Methuselah was 969 years old.
Well, that just sucks. Why do we go he's as old as
Well,
Methuselah?
because Enoch is still alive. Enoch never died. Enoch was 365 when it quite specifically says in the Bible that the Lord took him. God decided that he would not give him death because he was a good man. Even St. Paul wrote about it. He said,
Stephen, bring him to me.
If you were on Who Wants to Be a Millionaire,
Oh,
you'd be
yeah.
a very good phone a friend.
Oh,
wouldn't
wouldn't
you?
he? Wouldn't it be great if you phoned up? Hang on, I'll see if he's in. You know, he's not your friend.
Well, no, that seems to be the case. French philosopher Descartes believed that all humans could live as long as the patriarchs, as those old figures from the Bible are known. And he believed he was right on the brink of inventing a way that would make us live for at least 1,000 years when he died, aged 54. So there you are. That would make Enoch 5,387 years old. This question is an easy one, so I'll give it randomly to my old friend Sandy. What can you tell me about this chap behind you?
Oh. Well, do you think that the words give it away, or is that going to be unfair? The fact that it says the Puritan.
Well...
That seems unfair.
It does seem unfair, doesn't it?
It's a horrible start to things.
Because what it is the 19th century idea of a Puritan, and in fact the 19th century idea of a Puritan, which we retain to this day, is completely inaccurate. The steeple hat and those sort of clothing, absolutely no evidence whatsoever.
Well, they wore a
like
beanie
that.
hat normally, did they?
They wore ordinary clothes like anybody else,
Yes.
but if they were having their portraits taken, they usually wore their Sunday best, which tended to be black.
So he's not a Puritan at all?
No, he's a 19th century idea of a Puritan. You were right to say he was a Puritan because it says on it, the Puritan.
I was merely reading.
And I was being unjust, and you've lost 10 points. But it doesn't matter because you've already won.
Yeah.
So...
Do you know, I'm quite relaxed about the whole show.
Exactly. Now, what can you tell me about the Puritans in America?
They went over on the Mayflower. I keep expecting the thing to go off again.
Yeah.
They didn't go on the Mayflower.
No, the great American myth, if you like, is the Puritans arrived on the Mayflower. And they came to avoid religious persecution. In fact, they came in order to be able to persecute.
Yeah, but they hated the Quakers.
What they objected to was the religious freedom in England that meant that you could have all kinds of ranges of religion. Yes, and in 1660, they hanged a woman just for being a Quaker.
Yeah, Mary Dyer.
That's right,
Yeah.
the very one. Obviously, many people did come to America to avoid persecution in other lands, but the idea that Puritans came to avoid persecution is they came to persecute. They wanted to build a country in which there could be no dissent from Puritanism.
Puritans, they regarded luxury as sinful, didn't they?
Yes.
So, and some of them set off to America and the others opened B&Bs in Britain.
Hey!
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah. B&B's, breakfast until 7. Don't call it B&B, just call it B. If you've got no intention of serving breakfast, don't call it B&B.
Do you know, I once did a trip. I sailed all the way around Britain, and we finally got to Northumbria, and on the coastline there was a house that had painted on the side. It said, bed and breakfast, hot and cold water. I thought, only in this country would you feel you must advertise that you have both.
Pride. No, it used to be hot and cold running water. It's not just a bucket of it lying there. No, there's pipes and everything.
In this painting, did the native there on the left, did he bring that tree to hide behind? Did it look...
He doesn't look happy.
And it does the wrong way around.
He can see which way the wind is blowing.
I think he knows what's coming, doesn't he?
It's true, Stephen, that the Puritans weren't on the Mayflower. They always say they landed at Plymouth Rock, but in fact it was Provincetown, so none of it is actually true.
I'm afraid, it's a myth. Every country likes to build up a sort of legend of its own foundation. More than £20 billion gets spent in the UK each Christmas, and 1/3 of all books, clothes and toys are sold in the last 8 weeks of the year. 150 million Christmas cards get sent, 7.5 million trees are decorated, and we buy enough wrapping paper to gift wrap Guernsey. So, let's just take a few moments then together and try to remember, why is Christmas Day on December the 25th?
Ring, ring, ring-a-ding.
It's the birth of our Lord Jesus Christ.
Wallamy, wallamy, woo.
Well, I thought we'd get it out of the way.
Yes.
Is that a very, very small fire, or are those huge stockings?
It's a midwinter solstice. It's a pagan festival that's been appropriated by Christianity.
There is a great deal of truth in that.
Do I get the points back?
You will certainly get some back. It was indeed, there's a Teutonic, Celtic and pagan view that if you survived the winter solstice on the 21st of December, you have a feast to celebrate. But also, there was
The Roman god.
Was it Saturnalia?
There was the Saturnalia was also at that time of year, but there was Mithras.
Just the two of them were there?
Well, there are amazing things claimed about Mithras, and I'll read you some of them. He was a saviour, Mithras, sent to Earth to live as a mortal, through whom it was possible for sinners to be reborn into immortal life. He died for our sins, but came back to life the following Sunday. He was born of a virgin on December the 25th in a manger or perhaps a cave, attended by shepherds, and became known as the light of the world. He had 12 disciples with whom he shared a last meal before dying. His devotees symbolically consumed the flesh and blood of him. Because Mithras was a sun god, he was worshipped on Sundays.
Is he a tribute band?
He's often depicted with a halo around his head. Oh. And Mithraists gave each other gifts on December the 25th. The leader of the religion was called a Papa, and their HQ was on Vatican Hill in Rome.
And you're kind of writing off the chance that this was just a massive coincidence. And that one day they all went to the Vatican and went, what? Hang on. Right?
Well, a lot of Christian scholars have since been very angry at some of this research which came out in 1903 about Mithraists, and they claim it's nonsense.
There's a few flaws, though, aren't there? I mean, I've never heard a bloke go, oh, Mithras, when he's coming. Have you?
No, you're right. I'm not sure that Christians would point to that as somehow a vindication of their religion. It's certainly true that there are dozens of religions in world mythology that have had visits by wise men, kings who've killed children to stop the new king being born. There's a great deal in Christianity that is traditional. And however wonderful people think the story is, it's frankly not original.
This is an interesting direction to start your Christmas special with.
Well...
Who's wearing the crotchless pants in this relationship?
Oh, sorry, I thought we had to pause in for sauce.
No, in this relationship,
Oh, OK.
yeah.
I'm going to go the one on the right.
Albert?
Oh, is it Victoria and Albert?
It is Albert. Victoria and Albert, yes.
Well, maybe it's Victoria then.
It is Victoria. When do we think underwear began? People first started wearing underwear?
The loincloth, the early loincloth.
You get the early loincloth. So certainly in Roman times, people had underwear.
Jockey ones.
But it fell out of favour for centuries. And in Britain, men got underwear, so you're talking about kind of drawers, knickerbockers. But for centuries, women did not wear it at all. And when they did, finally, so we're talking 19th century, it was crotchless. So two separate legs hanging open underneath and held together by a belt around the waist. And you don't get them sewn together until 1876. I have no idea what happened that year. Someone went, I am not having this breeze. But it didn't become the norm to have a crotch in your underwear until 1910.
But it wasn't someone's sexual peccadillo to have crotchless panties at that point.
It was practical, really, as well. Going to the toilet was very difficult when you had multiple layers of clothing, and they would have been considered very unhygienic. There's very early evidence about the Roman underwear, so there's a 4th century mosaic which is found in the Villa Romana del Casale in Sicily. I think it looks more like a bikini, don't you think?
Yeah.
There's a possibly even earlier one, which is from Upper Egypt, 6,000-7,000 years ago. It's called the Badari figure. But do you think it looks more like just she's got a big bush?
Some sort of a brick wall, by the way. Yeah. You want to draw a stone wall round there, madam? Must be tight. Look at her eyes.
Yeah, she is. 2015, a pair of Queen Victoria's underpants sold for £12,000, and they were exactly able to date these pants. How do you think they could date them? So here's one of the extraordinary things about Victoria is the detailed photographic record of her life. And so they could work out by the waistband when it was, because she just got fatter.
She got bigger and bigger. She's got massive hips in the end.
Yes, so these are nearly 45 inches. So this is a waistband in this kind of region, which means it was definitely towards the end.
The waist was 45?
Yes, so we're talking 1890s by then. Albert was dead, she didn't care, she's just having cake.
All those lovely puddings, though. Oh. You wouldn't regret a minute of it, would you? What do you like for breakfast? Jam, roly-poly and custard.
Victoria!
bigger sponge, please, again.
And a larger pair of briefs.
Yes.
Which of these punishments would you rather receive? The penalty of the sack, an Assyrian parking fine, or be forced to wear a drunkard's cloak?
No. Are they all worse than they sound?
Well, certainly the parking fine is hideous. So we're talking 700 BC. What do you think the parking fine might have been in 700?
I don't know, but I know after 30 days it doubles if you don't remember to pay.
What are you parking in Assyria?
Chariot or a horse or a camel or anything you like.
Where is Assyria? Is it Syria?
It's modern northern Iraq, southeastern Turkey, northwestern fringes of Iran. It's an area that's now divided up into other countries. And there was a king called Sennacherib, and he announced a parking restriction on the kingdom's royal road. So you couldn't build anything on it, you couldn't park your chariot out front, and if you did, you were impaled on a stake and planted in your own garden. That was the...
And that's for a single yellow or a double yellow?
What if your horse has just broken down?
Put his hazards on.
As long as he blinks like that, that's all right, the horse, right.
But they actually had a sign that said, Royal Road, let no man decrease it, in Arcadian cuneiform.
You're saying it like it's more of a punishment in your own garden. Why is that bit so bad?
You might have landscaped. You might have got your lovely front garden sorted, and then you...
Yeah, you've just put the Lalande in, it's all looking nice.
You'd be like one of those weathercocks, wouldn't you? You'd swing around with the wind. If you died like that, you could always point in the direction of the wind.
I just imagine if I don't know, say your husband has been impaled on a stake and planted in the garden, you spend all your time going, yeah, but where have you put the car?
Yeah, the horse is in a pound somewhere. Also impaled on a stake. I mean, they impaled the horse, not me.
Stashed all the parking tickets in its mouth. Look at them all. Look at how many you've ignored.
Right, well, other punishments, the penalty of the sack or drunkard's cloak. What do you fancy?
Penalty of the sack? It doesn't sound too bad. Maybe a waxing?
Yeah.
Oh, that's not too bad.
A couple of clothes pegs.
It's called pianacule. It's an ancient Roman punishment for parricide. Anybody know what parricide is?
Parricide, killing someone in the family?
Killing your parents. It involved being whipped, stitched into a leather sack and thrown into the sea. The Emperor Hadrian adjusted the law by including animals in the sack, along with the victims. You might have a dog or a cockerel, a snake or a monkey. We're not really sure whether that was just a deterrent or they really did look for the animals, but we do know it survived into the 18th century in Germany, and monkeys and snakes really hard to source. So in 1715...
Oh, I thought you meant when you're cooking them, sorry.
Oh, I see, yeah. No, what, you'd have a béarnaise with it or something, yeah. So they were very difficult to source. So in 1715, there was one man who was sacked with a dog, a cockerel, a cat, and a picture of a snake.
It's the thought that counts.
Yeah, mind
Drawn
that
by a
frame.
child.
Yeah. What about the drunkard's cloak?
Is it something metallic that is impaled upon you?
No, wooden. In the 1640s, and I think you're going to find this hard to credit, Newcastle upon Tyne had a problem with drunkenness in the streets.
Oh, shut up.
So the initial punishment was to put the offender in the stocks, but if that didn't work, they would take a barrel and they would cut the bottom off it and they would cut holes like this, one for the head, two for the hands, and they would force the drunk to parade around town.
I think he's more of a medium. He's wearing an extra large there, and it's not hugging in the right places. That's not overly flattering.
It looks as if he's about to tell quite a fun story.
Yeah. All I did was park the chariot.
It's a very unfortunate outfit because drunk people fall over a lot. If he falls over, he's not getting back up very easily.
He could end up miles away.
Oh, time for some refreshment. Here we go. Let's have you pass that there to Sarah, if you would, Alan. Oh, there you go. There's one for you, Jack. You pass one to Adam.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. I'll have one myself. And there's one for you, Alan. There you go. Mmm. Mmm. You've done this before.
Gotta make it up right first.
All right. Come on, will you talk to it? Come here, you. Oh, you look lovely. You're so huge. I don't think I'm going to be able to manage it. Oh, there you are, yeah.
Oh. What do you think these were once used for?
What were carrots
carrots used for, or particularly these ones on sticks?
Well, not ones on sticks.
Waving in tiny aeroplanes?
Is it like what Gwyneth Paltrow gives her kids?
Well, they probably are.
You see in the dark.
Seeing in the dark, well, you're in the right era. When was it said that carrots could help you see in the dark?
At night.
In which period of history was it made known to people, this idea, which is not really true?
The Dark Ages.
Not the Dark Ages.
When did people discover vitamins?
Yeah.
Well, that wasn't until the beginning of the 20th century.
Because vitamin A is the key, helps your eyes, doesn't it?
Vitamin A does help you.
So it must have been around about then.
Well, it was really...
It must be so hard being a rabbit. They would never get any talking done.
Dogs, they just stay in the hut.
What do you think? Oh, I've got a mouth with a bloody carrot.
The problem was, in the Second World War, there was... We would run out of... Put it away.
Concentrate, Steve.
That's what I need to do.
It looked like the world's worst burlesque dance.
So in the Second World War, there was a very great shortage of sugar, and there was a big surplus of carrots, and so they put it about that carrots helped you see in the dark.
Oh, did they?
I love carrots, mate.
So they made sort of ice creams, as it were, out of carrots to try and make them attractive to children. There is a certain amount of sugar in them. As you could probably tell, they tasted a little sweet, didn't they?
Yeah, it was lovely.
And there was a group captain, John Cunningham, who was responsible for a very daring night raid over Germany, and they gave it out that what allowed him to do it was the fact that he ate carrots. In fact, what they were really doing was disguising the fact that they had on board aircraft radar. They had radar on board. They didn't want the Germans to know. The Germans knew we had ground radar, not that we had radar on board.
So they sold the carrot story to the Germans as well?
That was the idea, both to get children to eat their carrots and maybe to get the Germans to believe that it was carrots that allowed our bombers to see over those...
Wouldn't it have been more beneficial if they'd said the reason our pilots are so good at seeing at night is because they eat slightly undercooked chicken?
You should have been working in British intelligence. You're just the kind of chap we need, Whitehall. What did this bird bring to the German city of Klutz?
Chlamydia.
Chlamydia?
Chlamydia stalk. That sounds like a desperate man back from a business trip in Holland going, the thing is stalks.
Is that a particular, like, a giant stalk?
I'll show you a picture of it. It's been
Germany?
stuffed and is in a museum.
How big is it, really, then?
Well, it's hard to sell the scale, but stalks are quite big, but that's an arrow through it, or spear, rather. They call it an arrow in German, which is Pfeil, and it's known as the Pfeilstorch, which is just literally arrow stalk. Now, you may say, what's odd about that? Nothing particular. But what they recognised was that the arrow was not German. Indeed, it was not even European. But they recognised straight away
flown a very
that it
long
was
way.
African. What on earth would a bird be doing with an African spear in its neck, they thought?
My God.
So they puzzled out the possibility that birds, rather than disappearing at winter...
Oh, went to Africa.
Yes, and
So
migrated.
you're saying it flew back with that?
Yes. It survived.
No way.
I know, yeah.
That was no way.
Yes, it did.
It flew to Germany going, well, I'm never going back there. The worst holiday ever. I find that the survival of that bird, I find extraordinary.
It is, but you hear stories of bullets piercing people's heads without somehow managing to...
Not narrow, travelling the length of its neck
somehow managed
through its head.
I know, it is astounding that it flew.
During this
Something's different.
Yeah.
Do you think it was originally from Germany, or it got kind of... It was from England, and somehow... Whoa, we're going right a bit.
It might have slightly tilted to the right. We don't know. It was in 1820.
In the Spanish Inquisition, they used to put people on spikes. They put the spike up your bum hole and right up through you, and it would come out your shoulder, and it would miss all the vital organs, and you'd be alive.
That's not nice.
And then they'd put you out.
But you would...
I'm beginning really
right
to think less and less of the Spanish Inquisition, to be honest.
350 years it went on. I thought it was, you know...
Oh, no.
A couple of weeks.
Then it was safe to go back to Marbella. It wasn't always as torturous as
They did some terrible things.
They did it, but not for 300 years solid.
When it wasn't torturous, what would they do?
Well, they would test your faith, but they wouldn't punish you by...
There was a lot of tickling. It was 100 years where it was mainly Chinese burns. You do believe in God? Yes, you do. Yes, you do. Yes, you bloody do.
Anyway, until that time, people had observed birds disappearing, and they'd assumed all kinds of things. That they went underwater, that, you know, they changed into other animals. But there was no particular evidence anyway, except they disappeared. 1820. This was the first kind of clear evidence, as it were, that the bird had been to Africa. And so things began to get put together. Samuel Johnson wrote that swallows certainly sleep in the winter. A number of them conglobulate together by flying round and round, and then all in a heap throw themselves underwater and lie on the bed of the river. Well, that's what he thought, because swallows disappear in the winter, and he assumed they hibernated like other animals. And butterflies, of course, they migrate thousands of miles, but we never see them. Why don't we see butterflies migrate?
They're invisible.
Because they're caterpillars. They migrate as caterpillars. They migrate like super slowly.
Long time to get there.
Yeah, they're very, very hungry. I read a book about it.
The reason is that they are actually a kilometre up. They're incredibly high.
Are they?
Yeah. It's really astonishing. These fragile, delicate creatures manage to get the height, and then when they're in there, to orient themselves in such a way that they know they're all facing the right direction and get thousands of miles.
Whoa! How many sheep were there on Noah's Ark? Surely.
Nice Noah setup.
Somebody.
Hey, OK, it's a trick. None. They were floated on a raft behind the ark.
No, there were sheep on Noah's Ark.
Noah never built an ark. It didn't actually happen.
Well, according to the Bible, how many?
Yes, there was
Just get it over with.
Yes, you're right. No, it's a common mistake. People haven't read the Bible much these days, but I can read to you from Genesis chapter 7. And the Lord said unto Noah, Come thou and all thy house into the ark, for thee have I seen righteous before me in this generation.
Why did he talk like that?
Well, he spoke Hebrew, didn't he, dear? This is a translation into English, you see. But they spoke like that when they really could speak English, Alan. I think in 500 years' time, when they hear things we've said, and perhaps even things you've said, they might go...
Don't pick on me. You're quoting from a mythical being.
No. I'm just reading.
There were two of everyone. They went in two by two.
How would you know
Even
that?
my nephew knows
Yes,
that.
yes. How does he know? It's the only source of information we have for Noah's Ark is the Bible.
Rubbish.
And this is what it says. Listen.
Yeah.
Will you listen first and then comment? Will you agree to do that?
I read it. Jane's fighting ships.
Of every clean beast thou shalt take to thee by sevens the male and his female, and of beasts that are not clean by two the male and his female. Of fowls of the air by sevens the male and the female, to keep seed alive upon the face of all the earth. And sheep are accounted clean beasts.
Oh.
So there would have been
You've obviously never lived with one.
No, it's really according to sort of kosher law. So pigs there would not have been. Okay. Camels would have been in twos, but the clean beasts came in sevens. Maybe they could breed more and so on. Anyway, I agree with you. It's a surprise. Everybody thinks in the Bible.
Camels
went
two by two.
Exactly.
Hurrah, hurrah. Except the camels, because they were filthy. Hurrah, hurrah. Then the sheep, but not the den. The den came the amoeba. 1, no 2, no 4, no 8, no 6.
Fantastic.
A lot of the ferries and ships nowadays, of course, you're not allowed to take animals on them, which is ultimate irony.
That's a good point.
You wonder what Noah would make of that.
Yes, exactly.
Why would they say 7 animals? Because that means 3 pair and 1 animal.
Want to watch.
What was a Roman soldier's salary?
Wine, prostitutes.
The outfit, just the outfit.
Audience?
40 quid a week.
Salt! Oh dear! There's a joy in trapping the audience there. Yes, it is true that the word derives from the Latin for salt, but it is never true that they were paid in salt. the money would go towards the buying of salt, but also towards the buying of their uniform, the buying of almost everything else, because a bit like British officers, they have to buy everything themselves out of their salary, but they were never paid in salt.
We're getting paid in salt, though, aren't we?
You're getting paid in salt. Oh, yes. Yeah. Oh, yes. Now, what happened to most of the people in Pompeii when Vesuvius erupted? Yes, Marcus.
Well, they choked on the dust and gases, but they were sort of set in dust before anything else touched them. No.
Most of them got away.
Is the right answer, yes. Very good, yeah. A jolly, encouraging and patronising round of applause to you. No, you're absolutely right, spot on. Estimates are about...
Get all my patronising rounds of applause.
Do you add them all together? Yes. It would probably tilt the Earth off its axis. Around 1,100 bodies were found at Pompeii, but at least 15,000 people, which is 83% of the population, escaped. But we know one person who did not escape, don't we, Alan? Who, out of his natural curiosity, sat down on a chair and tied a pillow to his head with a napkin and watched it and then suffocated.
Yeah.
And his name was your old friend?
Pliny.
Pliny! Hooray! You love Pliny.
It's always Pliny.
It's always Pliny. The elder, more, yes, not his...
Pliny the elder.
Not Pliny the younger. Ooh,
Certainly not Pliny the wise.
Yes. But most of the ones you've seen of those bodies frozen, as it were, by the ash, actually had holes in them as their flesh corrupted within. And when they were discovered, it was deemed a neat idea to inject them with plaster of Paris. So almost all the ones you've seen are probably casts, or indeed casts of casts, because there are probably at least a dozen of those around the world in different museums. But they're as, perfect representation.
Did you ever see it with the original cast? It was fabulous.
Under the Emperor Diocletian, the Roman Empire had 4 capitals. Please name 2 of them.
Constantinople?
No. Any more for any more? Not Constantinople.
Rome. What had 4 capitals?
The Roman Empire. Not Rome. Not London.
Right.
Keep going. I don't think you're going to guess.
Venice, Tripoli, Florence.
Somewhere in Germania.
When he came to power, so 284 AD, the Roman Empire was threatened to collapse, and he did this brilliant thing. He decided to do a tetrarchy, and that is to be ruled by 4 emperors. And so he had 4 capitals. They were Nicomedia, which is in modern-day Turkey, Sirmium in modern-day Serbia, Mediolanum, which is modern-day Milan, and Augusta Treverorum, modern-day Trier. And actually, it worked so well that Diocletian was the very first emperor to be able to retire. And he retired to the Dalmatian coast, that's modern-day Croatia, and he grew vegetables.
There's a real moral about outsourcing.
Yes,
like,
you
don't
see.
get too stressed. Give other people your job and grow some vegetables.
Yeah. Just delegate, man.
Yeah.
Chill out.
Who invented straight roads? Alan.
The Romans.
Oh, dear, oh, dear, oh, dear, oh, dear, oh, dear. Dear, I'm afraid not.
You haven't caught me or anything, because I knew that was going to happen.
Did you? Did you? Yes. It's
and
not.
I'll have you know that they did.
No, they didn't. They rebuilt. They rebuilt a lot of straight roads that were already there.
The Romans would make a road that would go 50, 100 miles.
Yes.
Stane Street, that goes from Chichester to London, is 60 or 70 miles long. No one thought to go that far in a straight line until they did.
I think in terms of distance, you may well be right, that they probably built the longest straight roads, but there were
People
many...
would come across the Roman road and go, blimey, this must be a Roman road. They invented going really, really far in a straight line.
Yes, which wasn't the question, sadly. Oh, would that it had been.
But the Romans, presumably, never in the end really got anywhere because all roads lead to Rome.
Indeed. No, there was a dense network of roads in the pre-Roman Iron Age of very straight roads, but you're quite right, they weren't as vast.
Do you know that in America, some of the roads in the Midwest are so straight and go on straight for so long that then they have to make a right turn and then go straight
Really?
again.
Because people go loopy, is it?
No, to account for the curvature of the Earth so that it conforms to the map.
Good God. That's fantastic. Well, there you are.
And do you know that in Montana, a policeman will pull you over because he's lonely? me all the time.
Why do the Americans drive on the right?
Well, I guess because we invented the f***ing car.
I'm awfully sorry to put you right on that, but you didn't even come close to inventing.
We invented the
At least
first...
two Germans who got there way before.
Another proof, of course, is that in Ireland there were many, many, many straight roads, and the Irish were never invaded by the Romans, were you? You never
They never got as far as us. Absolutely not.
absolutely.
Which we actually do regret to this day because we have no great architecture that dates back to then. We have a lack
We've got cromlechs.
Well, we have our own little, mounds and stuff that we're quite happy with. That I had to drag my sorry ass around at school trips.
Boys, we're off to see a mound today.
and our imagination ran riot, but it was never what we expected.
Possibly the greatest prankster of all was a Roman emperor. He was called Elagabalus, and he was only emperor for 4 years, from 14 to 18. And he was unbelievably eccentric, decadent, even by standards of the time, and he was a very keen practical joker. So he once filled a false ceiling above a banqueting hall entirely with flowers and then had them dumped onto the diners below, and some of them smothered to death. It is the only death by potpourri that we know of.
There was that prank, wasn't there, where skywriters, those planes, and there was one in downtown LA and got into the sky and wrote, "How do I land?" That was
fantastic.
That was quite popular at the time.
Elagabalus, he was amazing. So he would quite often, people were having dinner, he would let in lions and bears and leopards while they're eating. And not tell anybody they'd been defanged and declawed and it was perfectly fine. And some people died of fright. He would also let the same animals into people's bedrooms while they were sleeping. And he was particularly fond of inviting poor people to dinner and giving them paintings of food.
If you were one of those wild animals, though, and you'd been defanged and declawed, your heart wouldn't be in the prank, would it?
No, not
You probably wake up, and then they'd go into the banquet, the lion, and say, "Has anyone got a straw?"
Because my teeth are not what they
Have you got
were.
any soup or anything?
What's the name of the fortifications that mark the northern boundary of Roman Britain?
Come on, man. Hadrian's Wall.
Oh, dear, dear, dear. Anyone in the audience know?
What's further north? Where do they go that was further north than that?
Antonine. Oh, dear. Audience get a penalty. There, you fell into our trap. There are some intelligent people who do know that the Antonine Wall is north of Hadrian's Wall, but a very obscure fact, certainly confess I had no idea of, it's the Gasque Ridge System, which is the oldest and indeed the northernmost of the boundaries. There's the Antonine Wall. We can see Hadrian's Wall there. And there's the Gasque Ridge, which doesn't look as good. Doesn't go from coast to coast.
I would start thinking maybe I'll go around it.
I think I use the same builders as that.
You could walk round it a little bit, but it was the northernmost.
All right, well, it's a defence against fat people.
Lazy
people.
Defence
We don't... Oh, do you have to walk? I won't bother.
Hadrian's Wall remains the longest continuous fortification in Europe. Obviously, it's nothing compared to the Great Wall of China, but it was still pretty impressive. It was garrisoned by how many troops in its day, do you think?
I don't know, but I do know that they took 40,000 troops to try and suppress Scotland. And then when they got there, they found there was nowhere really to suppress because everyone was hiding. And at night, they'd come out and attack them, and they just ended up giving up. So there were thousands of people.
Yeah, 9,000 garrisoned the wall. They came from all over the known empire, including from the Tigris, what we'd now call Iraq. Iraqi Arabs were stationed. They must have found it very chilly and unpleasant.
What wall is that there? That's a Gasque, is it?
No, that's Hadrian's Wall.
Ah.
Yeah, which is in great shape. I don't think the Gasque Wall is in much shape.
I went for a walk along there with a friend of mine he's like a real Cockney geezer.
Yeah.
And he's always, that sort of myth of, like, people being friendly in the north and not so friendly in the
daft
south.
barn kick.
Yeah, we walked up along there. This summed up the north-south divide for friendliness and not friendliness and talking to strangers and that. Two blokes walked past. It was about 8:30 in the morning. We were having a long walk round. And a bloke went, "Morning," and I went, "Morning," and my mate went, "Who's that?"
Thank you for... Now, I've got some packed lunches for you here. Rachel, that's for you, darling.
thank
Going to have a
you.
Cornish pasty. Yes. Richard, you've got ham sandwiches. Ramesh, you've got a toast sandwich. That's for you. I'll be honest, Alan, yours looks a little tiny bit mouldy. So, what quite interesting thing can you tell me about your snacks, Richard? Ham sandwiches.
In nature,
Yes.
they're the only thing that grows in triangles.
Well, here's the extraordinary thing. So, 1851, we know from a census that 436,800 sandwiches were sold on the streets of London, and they were all ham. Every single one.
They didn't sell any other sandwich.
They just sold ham sandwiches. Do you know who invented the pre-packaged sandwich?
Would it be a Joe Lyons tea shop?
No, it's much more recent than you might imagine. It's M&S.
M&S?
Yes, 1980.
Wow.
Apparently an assistant wrapped up some leftover sandwiches from the cafe and put them out for sale, and then it took off.
This is like a freestyle, innit? Just go for it.
Just go for it, sell them. So the most popular ones, egg mayonnaise, BLT and chicken salad. Those are the ones that make all the money.
All morally corrupt, those sandwiches, just so you know. All right, my vegan brothers and sisters.
Ramesh, let's have a look at your toast sandwich. What have you got in it? Did you rip it like that? Did you just open the bag? We could have reused it. What is wrong with you?
Well, it's got my name on it. It's very unlikely you're going to have another Ramesh on this. Or even me, based on how this is going.
Tell us what's in your sandwich.
So my sandwich has toast in it?
Yes, it is literally a toast sandwich.
Yes. And I can give you a fact about this.
Go on, then.
One day, Ramesh Ranganathan was given this on QI and was very insulted. So this...
OK, so this is an historic sandwich. So Mrs Beeton, the great Mrs Beeton, her book of household management in 1861, she had a recipe for a toast sandwich. It was a piece of toast, seasoned with salt and pepper, and served between 2 slices of bread.
Wow. I mean, in many ways, she didn't need to write that down.
No. She says this sandwich would be very tempting to the appetite of an invalid.
I've got to tell you, it's delicious.
Is it good? Toast sandwich.
That's a good idea. Like, it's all about texture, isn't it? And I bet that's got a lovely texture to it.
Big up Mrs Beeton. She's absolutely smashed it. No.
Rachel, Cornish pasty. What do we know about the Cornish pasty?
Well, this bit is where you hold it.
Yes.
That's called the handle.
Yes.
Famously. Or in the other parts of the south, they call it the edge.
And why was it created?
For miners.
Absolutely right. It was a portable lunch, basically, to take down the mines. You're absolutely right.
Is it true that in those pasties...
Yeah.
They put the pudding in the pasty as well?
Yeah, so it was perfectly possible to have the savoury bit one end and the sweet bit the other end. So you can see one there which has got a bit of savoury and a bit of
So is that
sweet.
a pastry barrier? Have they put a barrier in?
A little pastry barrier,
Because if
yeah.
they didn't have enough pastry, slam a bit of toast in there. That would do the same job.
It's not the only one that does that, actually, Ramesh. There's a thing called a Bedfordshire clanger, which looks more like a long sausage roll. And again, it's 2/3 savoury and 1/3 sweet.
They did that on the bake-off.
Did they? I didn't see. Can I just say, and we should whisper this if anybody in Cornwall is listening, but the oldest Cornish pasty recipe comes from Devon.
Oh. Did you hear that, Cornwall? You didn't even come up with a pasty, losers.
The Devon one is from 1510. The Cornish oldest one is from 1746. You enjoying that toast?
It's just, you think it's going to be boring,
Yeah.
but the middle bread just tastes so different from the other two pieces.
You've really gone full circle on it.
Honestly, I think it might be the best thing I've ever eaten.
Well, you're a vegan, so I'm not surprised.
I just remembered I know a thing.
Oh,
about
wow.
Cornish pasties.
OK.
That picture reminded me.
Yes.
Those ones where it's all...
The crimping?
The crimping, I was going to say... Well,
I have all the baking terms that you need.
Yes, it's just going to be that it's called crimping.
Right, Alan's eaten his sandwich. I said it was mouldy, but this is actually a rather brilliant thing. This is a mouldy anti-theft sandwich bag. So the sandwich is not mouldy at all. The idea is to stop people nicking it out the fridge.
Didn't work with Alan.
No, clearly not.
you want the rest of your toast sandwich now, Ron?
I will eat it.
Did you actually like it, Ramesh?
I did. I mean, I feel nervous about saying because I'm being persecuted as a vegan on this show, but it tasted all right.
I didn't know you were a vegan. You should mention it occasionally.
If you had to fight a duel, which weapon would you want your opponent to choose? A, hot air balloon, would that please you? B, a billiard ball? C, a sword? Or D, a sausage?
Sausages are fairly non-lethal.
You'd
See,
say
I would
sausage?
think you could get terrible food poisoning
Yeah,
from the sausage.
Well, we do have history on our side, so we can tell a story about the sausage. There was a scientist, a very eminent scientist, who was rather liberal in his ways, who lived in Prussia, and who was the great leader of Prussia, who basically unified Germany and was the what we would call a prime minister, but he was the minister-president of Prussia.
Bismarck.
Von Bismarck, exactly. And this German pathologist, who was called Rudolf Virchow, so opposed the mighty armaments program that Bismarck had started that he enraged Bismarck, who challenged him to a duel. So because he got to choose, this doctor, who was the first man to isolate the pathogen behind pork that had gone off, which is called Trichinella spiralis, said, OK, the weapons will be sausages. One of which would be poisonous, toxic, as you say, with this agent, this pathogen. So he challenged him to a breakfast, essentially. And Bismarck didn't like the idea, so called the whole thing off, which the challenger has the right to do.
So it's a sausage roulette?
Yeah.
Yeah, basically. Sausage roulette. Yeah, but with only two. And so you had a 50-50 chance of dying, so that's a pretty dangerous duel. Sausage duel. So, moving from the sausage to the balloon, the Monsieur Grandpré and Monsieur de Pique. We're going to get quite French because you know what they're like. In 1808, there was a dispute between these two over the affections of a young woman. They took to the skies in separate hot air balloons, each armed with a blunderbuss. De Pique shot first and missed. He had the first shot and he missed.
There's a moment, isn't it?
Grandpré then fired at de Pique's balloon and punctured it, sending him and his second down to their deaths.
Wow.
2,000 feet above Paris. So the balloon, pretty damn dangerous. There's only one example of a billiard ball duel that we've been able to discover. That took place between a Monsieur L'Enfant and a Monsieur Melfort. They fell out over a game of billiards, not surprisingly, and so they used what was to hand, billiard balls. Presumably it was carom if they were French. And they decided to resolve their difference by pelting each other, one after the other, with billiard balls. They drew straws to see who would throw first. And Melfort won, and he warned his opponent he would kill him with a one single strike, and he did. Straight between the eyes. Wow. Dead.
Wow.
Yeah.
God.
That's...
And he probably went, I was joking. I was, I didn't think I'd actually hit you. Why did they use the cue? That would have been...
Yeah. So, of all the weapons we've described, probably the safest is the sword, because in duelling, all you have to do is get the draw first blood, as the phrase is. So you literally have to pink someone, just give them a little scratch, and it's called off by the second. So, we got him. So, there we are. The patron saint of QI is the ancient Roman Gaius Plinius Secundus, better known as Pliny the Elder. His natural history is the great encyclopedia, covering all human knowledge at the time. Life, he said, is my subject, and he estimated that the 37 volumes that he wrote contained 20,000 important facts derived from 2,000 books. The 28th book of his magnum opus is what concerns us now, packed as it is with antidotes, state-of-the-art remedies culled from the great medical minds of the ancient world. So, Danny, what does Pliny confidently expect to cure by recommending that the patient eats the heart of a black jackass outside, out of doors that is, on the second day of the moon?
Mumps. Excellent, I have no idea. So, there was a suggestion once that the key to eternal life lies in the elbow, and if it can be consumed, then you would live forever, which is why nobody, no matter how hard you try, can actually lick their own elbows. Even though...
Clearly, we were
I know the audience are now desperate to have a go. It's so attainable until you come to here, and whether the theory came first or the curse came second... The idea that you cannot lick your elbow, but they say if you can, you will live forever.
But isn't that how socialism was invented, that someone said, come, let us lick each other's elbows?
It doesn't look good.
Well, the thing is...
So,
that no young man of licking age spent any time at all trying to lick his elbow.
The question was, why would you eat the heart of a black jackass by the light of the moon?
Well, it must be something awfully serious
Outdoors.
you'd have wrong with you. Because the heart of a... Yeah, where do you get a black jackass anyway?
These days.
These days?
Yeah.
Kentucky Fried Jackass.
Well, I'll tell you the answer.
Is it gout?
It's not gout. It's not gout. It's actually epilepsy. Although he also prescribes for epilepsy the consumption of lightly poached bear's testes, a camel's brain, dried and taken with honey, or in extremis, a draught of fresh gladiator's blood. Is
He
good for epilepsy.
he doesn't mention Tegretol then.
No. Is that the specific that you favour?
Yes, it is. That's a specific drug for epilepsy.
Do you have epilepsy yourself?
No.
No, but you know those who do.
She knows loads about drugs.
Does she?
Yeah, because she's a nurse.
And a drug
Of course
addict.
she would.
And a drug
Write the plot of or sing a song from the popular musical The Bathrooms Are Coming.
The bathrooms are coming. Thank God, I need a shit.
Bill, can you do me Cisterns Are Doing It For Themselves?
Oh, very good.
The bathrooms are coming, lock up your pipes. The bathrooms are coming, where are your knives? Kill them, they'll be coming. Kill them, the bathrooms are coming for your lives. They're coming for your souls.
I've had it installed now, but there's nothing to pay till September. I'm on a HP high, and ain't no debt collector ever gonna bring me down.
Water may be very hot.
Don't let the grout go mouldy on me. In country and western.
Well, if you're going to do country western, it's going to be fixed shower head, driving me wild. Can't find my crevices, no matter how hard I try. I'm going to put my leg up.
No, don't.
Pull my jump to the side.
Thank you. Well, that was a big surprise. Thank you very much. Do you know what that might be? The Bathrooms Are Coming, written by a Broadway musical composer, but not for Broadway.
Was it a bathroom
commercial
company?
or something?
Yes, the American Standard, they were called. And this was one of many, many, many industrial musicals which had their heyday between 1950 and 1980. 30 years of exciting musicals for conventions of various companies and their salesmen all over America. And they would write specialist musicals just for the salesmen, just for the conventioners, not for the members of the public. But they had big budgets and they were written by Broadway, serious Broadway composers who hid their names, I think.
Yeah.
But that's an example of one. The Bathrooms Are Coming in. An original musical presented by American Standard, as you can see. The Sound of Selling. B.F. Goodrich, 1966 sales meeting musical. It's not exciting. The Saga of the Dingbat.
This is the weirdest thing I've ever seen.
Isn't it?
It's
mental, isn't it? These were
going
huge.
on?
Well, when it started in the 50s, by about 1955, America made
Gone
two-thirds of the world's goods. Two-thirds of manufacturing industry in the world was American.
Was this at the height of this week's show was brought to you by Lorimer Cigarettes?
There was all that sponsorship going on
yeah.
the Ed Sullivan Show and things like that, yeah.
So wait, hang on. If you want to, hang on a second. Oh, hang on. If you've a hankering for knowledge, but can't be asked for college, then this is the show for you. Something like that.
That's the one. That's the QI
It's really quite interesting show. Something like that.
One of the biggest problems faced by explorers, as you can probably imagine, is that of language. Alan and Bill, I would like you two to imagine that you are two of the Pilgrim Fathers who arrived on the Mayflower in the coast of the United States or America.
Right.
And I would like Rich and Sean to imagine you are Native Americans who meet them. How, you can use sign language if you like, would you communicate?
I would immediately read from the Book of Common Prayer. Hail, savage.
Hi, how how are you?
What's that, Toby jug?
Yes.
Where's the pub?
Foaming pint of beer.
Humity, huppatimity, itimity, never mind the buzzcocks. Jonathan Creek. What about? Habate pata, I can't believe my eyes.
Not just never mind the buzzcocks, other things as well. Do stand-up, ha 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 ha, and piano, playing in hotels.
You think you're the first explorers here, don't you? Where do you think these eyeglasses came from?
The extraordinary thing is, between them, Rich and Bill are absolutely right. The first thing said by one of the Native Americans who met the Plymouth Brethren was, could I have some beer? In English. He asked for beer in English.
He met the Indian, did?
Yes. He spoke fluent English. He'd crossed the Atlantic 6 times. This was in 1620. America had been visited by others. The Pilgrim Fathers were not the first people to land in America by any means.
It's a trick question, wasn't it?
Yeah, his name was Squanto, the best known of them.
Yes.
But this particular one was called Samoset, and he spoke very good English.
Somerset. What did he say then? Get off my land!
Have you got some cider?
You bloody pilgrim farmers, get off my land!
He learned his English from fishermen and from his friend
And the
Squanto.
archers.
And from the archers, probably, as well. Sure. Are you buzzcocks? That's what he said. But instead of getting beer, he got cheese and a bit of duck. And they both helped the Pilgrim Fathers survive their first year because they had nothing to eat when they arrived. And all there was Maine lobster, which is now a delicacy, but they thought was hideous. But they were in terrible strife, weren't they? And they were about to starve. Yeah. And then they said, well, actually, you can... here's some turkey. Yes. And the full... And some cranberries. And then they killed them all. With guns. Unfortunately, yes. There was 50 years of peace, though. In fact, Squanto brokered a peace that lasted for 50 years. They lived together very happily. He was an interesting fellow, Squanto. He was kidnapped from his village by a British captain around 1605, which was 15 years before the Mayflower sailed. And he lived in England for 9 years. And then he returned home on another British ship. Then another British captain kidnapped him and tried to sell him into slavery in Spain. He was rescued by some Spanish friars, escaped back to London, took ship again, this time to Newfoundland, found it was too far to walk home, so he sailed all the way back to England. The following year, he signed up for an exploratory expedition to New England and crossed the ocean again. By the time he had crossed the Atlantic 6 times, he was fluent. How many bullets are there in a gunslinger's revolver?
7. 5.
12 stone, 4
6. Well, 6, they're called 6 guns, and they have, as you noticed, 6
But there were
chambers.
6 in and 1 in the spout, isn't that?
No, it's not 6, quite the other way around.
5.
You're right, 5. Why 5?
Gravity.
Well, it's simply safety. Wyatt Earp, who one can be regarded as something as an expert, he said, I've often been asked why 5 shots without reloading were all the top-notch gunfighter ever fired with, 5, when his guns were chambered for 6. The answer is safety. The hammer rested on the empty chamber, so it could never discharge by mistake because there was no safety catch on it. And there, of course, the great Clint Eastwood. I did a thing in America once, and there was an armourer who's the film guy who gives you the gun and everything and takes it away and keeps you safe and gives you blanks or whatever. And he told me a fact. He'd been doing it since the 30s. He'd been working on westerns. He said only 2 actors he ever worked with, and he worked with them all, didn't blink when they fired a gun. This is actually, oddly enough, a shot of Clint exactly proving he was one of them, because the gun's going off and his eyes are open, as much as they ever were. And he was one. He never blinked. John Wayne blinked, Anthony Quinn, Gary Cooper. Who's the other?
Kenneth Williams.
You Carry On Cowboy. Yes, wide open. The idea of those butch American armourers called Rusty and Randy, whatever, having heard of Kenneth Williams. It was your own guy, Kenneth Goddamn Williams. No,
bravest guy I ever
It's
knew.
actually Westworld is probably the Western most people would think of. Yul Brynner, yeah. Yul Brynner never blunk. So anyway, the answer is they have 5 bullets. Not. Alan, if you were knighted, what would the Queen say to you?
Arise.
No, she wouldn't.
Are you sure she doesn't say, no, I'm sorry, I have to draw the line somewhere?
Well, after his name, for which we'll say Alan, after Alan's name is announced, the knight-elect, Alan, kneels on a knighting stool.
What are the chances?
I
wouldn't turn it down, I'm not posh.
In front of the Queen, who then lays the sword blade on the knight's right and then left shoulder.
I'll be like that, cheer.
That's it. After he has been dubbed, the new knight stands up. Contrary to popular belief, the words "Arise, sir," ... are not used. The Queen then invests the knight with the insignia of the order to which he has been appointed, a star or badge, depending on the order. By tradition, clergy receiving a knighthood. What's the difference when clergy are knighted, if they happen to be?
They kneel on a corgi.
No, there's no sword.
There's no sword. You can't take a sword to a clergyman.
Exactly. No, you'd take a dagger, wouldn't you? Exactly.
A scimitar.
Or an
Small
axe.
arms fire.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. The strict meaning of the word accolade is the salutation given on the bestowal of a knighthood, from the Latin meaning of an embrace around the neck, around the coll, as in collar. But do you know about degradation? And that's when you have your knighthood taken away. The last public one was in 1621, when Sir Francis Mitchell was found guilty of grievous exactions and had his spurs broken and thrown away, his belt cut and his sword broken over his head, and was then pronounced to be no longer a knight, but a knave.
Oh.
All by the king?
Yeah. It would have been James I, wouldn't it? Yes. Wow.
It's when she did Alan Sugar. Did he go, you're fired?
You're degraded. You are a knave. Can you name the family in Swiss Family Robinsons? Yeah.
Robinson.
No, indeed. No, there is no family called Robinson in Swiss Family Robinson, no.
Oh.
In Swiss Family Robinson is a book by a man called Weiss, a Swissman.
Is it a reference to Robinson
It's a reference to Robinson Crusoe. They're a Swiss Robinson. Yeah, that's what it is. They don't actually have a surname. They're called Ma and Pa and Ernst and Franz and names like that. But the weird thing is there have been films in which they're called the Robinsons. It's just a misapprehension.
Are they even Swiss?
Well, they are Swiss. They are Swiss. When it was translated by William Godwin, he called it the Family Robinson Crusoe, because that's the idea. It was a Robinson Crusoe family, as it were. A family undergoing a Robinson Crusoe experience. It's a good title. And that got mysteriously changed in 1818, 4 years later, to the Swiss Family Robinson. A third of all the film and TV adaptations have them as being called Robinson.
I think they need a better title altogether.
Yeah.
Basically, it's just like a sort of shortening of the pitch.
It is,
isn't it?
isn't it?
Swiss Family like Robinson Crusoe. It's a Swiss family meets Robinson Crusoe.
Exactly.
The two most entertaining things we can think of, Robinson Crusoe and a Swiss family. This is dynamite. As long as we can come up with a good title.
How might the CIA win the Cold War with this? OK, so I've got one for each of you. You should have one sitting there.
yes, we
So
do have
it is like the old arcade game. So one of you presses the things to try and fox the other. That's it. And one of you has to grab it. There's no point just... That's it. Grab the thing. Oh, Bill, very good. Have you got that? Yeah.
I have to do that. I'm not doing it. I'm not
Keep going. Keep harder, harder. That's it.
Are you regretting giving us these?
I am now, yes. So...
It's not like Kazakh lottery or something.
No, it's not the lottery. What other bits of the game might you use if it wasn't the balls for the lottery?
The grabber.
The grabber, yes. So CIA, what would they use it for?
Grabbing the balls of a spy.
Yes.
Torture.
Yeah, no, it's not that at all. We're going to head to an O area. We're going to go to oceanography.
Oceanography.
OK, and using it...
Getting submarines.
Yes!
out.
Yes! No! Yes! Absolutely right! Yes! That is absolutely right. The CIA used the biggest claw grab ever constructed to get hold of a Soviet strategic ballistic missile submarine which had sunk in the Pacific. So, in 1968, they began Project Azorian, and the aim was to recover the Soviet sub, K-129, and they got a ship called the Hughes Glomar Explorer. And from the outside, it looked just like any other ship, but in the middle, the major portion of the hull could be opened up underwater to reveal a vast...
Oh, my God.
It really is like a movie. Look at that.
Wow.
To reveal real vast internal... they called it a moon pool.
Does the boat not sink at that point?
Apparently not. And they put down the largest, so exactly like you've got in the game, the largest grabbing claw.
Like one of these?
Yeah, nicknamed Clementine. And they put it right over the wreck. But what always happens in these arcade games when you grab something?
There's no grip.
Yeah.
But then it's immediately released and you get the bunny you didn't want.
Yes, that is exactly what happened.
They got a bunny?
Well, an underwater rabbit.
Oh, thank God! I thought no one was going to come.
I thought you were going to say that nobody on the boat had any change.
Yeah.
They were like...
No, halfway up, they dropped it. Two-thirds of it actually broke away. So they did manage to get a third of it, which fortunately had 2 nuclear torpedoes on it and a cheap watch.
They nearly dropped those then. That would have been...
That would have been bad.
But where was this then?
In the North Pacific.
Wait a minute, is this true?
Yes, it's absolutely true. It happened in 1968. Yes.
This is an amazing show.
And then there was another experiment where they had these nuclear silos and they kept popping. They didn't know which missile that the silo was going to come out of. So they got a giant hammer and they just tried to whack it. And it's called Whack-a-Nuke.
Talking about amusement arcades, the claw machines, March 2017, a 3-year-old Irish boy called Jamie Bracken Murphy, he so wanted a furry dinosaur that he climbed up the dispensing chute and into the machine.
They're going to try him. There's a child here. There's a child. They have to grab him out.
Grab him out, the thing. He wouldn't come out without the dinosaurs. He'd got 2 furry dinosaurs. So, in the end, he was rescued by a passing fireman and he was allowed to keep the dinosaurs, but I think so he should be.
Anyway, who first used the expression OMG?
Was it Hannah Montana?
It wasn't Hannah Montana.
That's my guess.
It's a good guess. A reasonable guess.
I'm guessing that in the past it's meant something else.
No, as oh my God.
Oh my God.
Jesus.
Oh my God.
No. No, this is genuinely the use of OMG in a communication.
Is it going to be on a Morse code?
No, though, funnily enough, you're in the right area. It was
military.
Kissinger?
It's not military, naval. It was 2 of the great naval figures of the First World War. Who was the First Lord of the Admiralty during...
Churchill.
I have no idea.
Churchill, Winston Churchill. But the great Lord Fisher, in 1917, wrote a letter to Winston Churchill saying, I hear that a new order of knighthoods is on the tapis, meaning on the carpet. OMG, shower it on the Admiralty. So there you are. Oh, my God.
What year was that, sorry?
1917.
OMG.
Yep,
That's
OMG.
a really good fact.
That's a good fact, isn't it?
Can we be certain he meant, oh, my God? He might have meant...
Yes, no, he definitely did. He put, oh, my God, in brackets afterwards. He wrote OMG
that
brackets.
rather ruined the point of
Yeah, I know. But as he was the first user, I guess he had to explain it.
OMG, by which I mean, of course, the longer expression, oh my God.
Oh my God.
Eric Partridge's Dictionary of Abbreviations in 1942 contained dozens of SMS-friendly examples, such as AGN for again, MTH for month, and GD for good. So they pre-existed.
But I heard someone vocalise LOL. I actually heard someone said LOL as opposed to laugh. There's 2 kids in the street, and I told them a joke, and she went, LOL, like that. Rather than laugh.
Yeah.
That's just some horrible post-Orwellian nightmare.
How amazing is that going to be at stand-up gigs if people just, an audience starts
Exactly.
going,
LOL. Yeah. Let's just try it. No,
hang on
after
a second.
3. I'll just say the word LOL with as little expression as you can. Here we go. 1, 2, 3. LOL. That's the...
Tim Minchin has actually suggested that because people don't laugh out loud when they say lol, that he suggests MAS, mildly amused smirk. Which would be quite good, because that's what happens.
Nelly is another one that you could have.
Yeah?
Nelly, N-E-L-I, not even laughing inwardly.
But you'd be impressed to know that in 1659 is the first use of to unfriend, which we thought was a modern Facebook phrase, but to unfriend was used by Thomas Fuller, who wrote to theologist John Heylin, I hope, sir, that we are not mutually unfriended by this difference which hath happened betwixt us.
Yes, and then I believe his friend wrote back that he liked that message.
Yeah, he liked that. They say of the Acropolis, where the Parthenon is, they They say of the Acropolis where the Parthenon is. They say of the Acropolis where the Parthenon is that they.
It turns out they didn't say anything at all. I think you might
They say of the Acropolis
where the Parthenon is.
Everyone! They say of the Acropolis where the Parthenon is. They say of the Acropolis where the Parthenon is. They say of the Acropolis where the Parthenon is. Fight!
Bloody hell, Stephen. This better be good.
Moving on. So, the triglyph is a remnant of the stone.
Sorry, Steve. I've just got a question. What do they say about the Acropolis where the Parthenon is?
They say.
What do they say? What do they say?
He's going to say. 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 What do they say about the Acropolis where the Parthenon is?
Can I write it down? Read it. It says it there.
What you got to tell us now?
They say of the Acropolis that there are no straight lines. Damn, that hurt.
Do they?
Yeah.
Whatever.
What did the Pope's librarian say when he first saw the rings around the planet Saturn?
They initially thought the planet had ears.
Ah, yes.
That was Galileo. I mean, I don't think he actually thought it had ears, because Galileo was a genius.
No, he thought like a jug. Ears in the sense of a jug ears, wasn't it?
Yeah.
No, that's Galileo, who was sensible.
They are
I'm
remarkable. talking
about the librarian of the Pope.
Do you know...
He genuinely believed that it was possible that after Christ's ascension into heaven, the rings of Saturn were where he put his foreskin.
Ah, yes.
Now, you may think, oh, I'm trying to mock the church. This is all nonsense. But Christ, of course, was a Jewish boy, and like all Jewish boys, on the 8th day of his birth, he was circumcised.
50,000 miles across.
They
Imagine
didn't know.
the size.
They weren't aware of that.
I need a place to hang this massive foreskin on.
I've got new respect for Jesus.
That's some girl.
His name was Leo Alatius, and his essay was called De Praeputio Domini Nostri Jesu Christi Diatriba, a diatribe, a discussion concerning the prepuce, foreskin, of our Lord Jesus Christ.
This is how to interest teenagers in astronomy. this is how quick I've been missing.
Is it out there as a relic?
Well, like all the relics, there are 18 places who claim to have the one true holy foreskin.
Oh, they really?
of Christ. Yes, there is. Catherine of Siena was one of the weirder of the saints. She believed that Christ gave her his foreskin as a wedding ring in their mystical marriage.
What a gift.
After her death, her hand was cut off and became a relic with its invisible foreskin on it as a ring. She was an extreme anorexic, a peculiar woman. She also actively sought out degrading experiences. She once drank a cupful of cancerous pus from a woman who had abused her. So naturally...
Has she appeared on Mock the Week?
But now, more importantly, more significantly, how were the rings around Saturn actually formed?
I'm going to play the card there.
You are right. You're a true scientist. The fact is, nobody does really know, do they? No, there are two sort of major... Well done.
Thank you.
Well done.
I didn't copy, I wasn't copying.
Yeah. There's a Socratic acceptance of the limits of one's own knowledge, and there's ignorance.
I'm not saying which is which. No, quite right. There are two major theories. I think there are two major theories. Is that
it's
right?
thought there could be a moon that,
Yes.
that was either disrupted, so something hit it and fragmented it. Although they are almost pure water ice, which, come to think of it now, sat here, makes the moon theory a bit unlikely, doesn't it? Because moons are made of rock. So actually...
So the other
but
theory
that
would
is
be
what-
that it would be something to do with the formation of the planet itself, that
Yeah.
something spun off it in some way and then achieved a stable orbit around and then formed these...
and they don't coalesce together. They're held, the structures are held by the other moons. There are over 60 moons of Saturn.
Are they part of the rings or entirely separate from the rings?
Some of them are inside small moons called shepherd moons, which go around and you get rings in between those moons. And then it's got moons outside the rings, which affect the structure of the rings. So they orbit outside and affect it.
Quite
so it's
big
a very
moons?
complex...
Life-carrying moons?
Structure. Well, there's a moon called Enceladus, which is about as big as Britain. It's a very small moon. But it has fountains of ice rising up out of the surface. And it's thought that means that there may well be liquid water beneath the surface, so pockets of liquid water. Everywhere on Earth that you find water, you find life.
Of all these moons, like, this is the one thing I wanted to ask you. Of all these moons, which one's most likely to be the home to Ewoks?
It would be Titan.
Titan,
Has got a thicker atmosphere than the Earth.
Ah.
So you'd need to be furry.
Good answer. We just have to destroy the one that has Jar Jar Binks on it, though. That's What did they call the man who won the Battle of Hastings?
Harold.
Ah, no, they called him.
And he lost, didn't he?
Yes. What did they call the man who won?
William the Conqueror.
William the Conqueror.
No, we call him William the Conqueror. What did they call him in the day?
Normandy, I think.
William le Conqueror.
But the fact is, no, the word William didn't exist at all as a name at the time of the conquest. He was known as Guillaume Bâtard. William the Bastard, in fact, was how he was universally known by the other French. It wasn't as rude to call him that.
The bloke on the left appears to be riding a llama. I mean, that's definitely a horse on the right. I mean, he's got a parrot. He's a random pirate, has arrived in the middle.
Well, I arrived on a busy day here in Hastings. Who's that doing the embroidery over yonder? Get my good side.
As you might see in the top left corner, the word William is kind of developing. It's become Wilhelm. Wilgelm.
No, it's Will 6 Elm.
Wilgelm.
Normano, I like that.
Normano.
Yeah.
Is it Normano? Or... Is that like medieval text speak? They never put the whole thing in. They just thought, you know, we've invaded Britain. Lol.
OMG. Very good. So, they have indeed. That's basically the point. But all the Norman names, all the Saxon names disappear within 50 years of the invasion. All the Earwigs and Ethelreds and all those sort of names disappeared, and it became Hugo and Robert and Richard and William became the most popular names. William, one in every 7 men. What's missing from this menu?
3 tortoises.
Can you imagine the anal retentives looking at that picture at home?
I just want to say hair, but that's...
Welcome to our world,
you,
Carrier.
thank you.
Very good. The tortoises and the hare not, sadly.
Okay.
Jugged hair.
69 tortoises.
69 tortoises.
69?
Yeah.
And the bitch ain't one.
That's what we were thinking of.
Is that a song?
I believe it's popular in the hit parade
You've
right
had
now.
that on the radio too, I'm sure.
What do we know about tortoises and their cousins?
They're old. There's one that just died that was around in George III's time.
Yes, there was one that died in
How would
India
you know if it was
that had
dead?
belonged to Clive of India. Sorry?
You'd have to wait a few months to be sure it was dead.
Yes.
Or just asleep. Don't bury it, for God's sake.
Why do you think they have such enormous shells?
They got big TVs.
Lot of stuff, lot of
Lot of
belongings.
stuff, yeah.
That's the thing about getting old. You look
Yeah.
around and you think, my God, look how much shit I've got.
If you're an agoraphobic tortoise.
Oh,
Terrifying.
Better than being a claustrophobe.
Well, to return to our question, these tortoises are evidence of the first ever human feast.
First ever menu.
Rather than just eating, a real feast. And there were 71 tortoises consumed at this feast, it would seem, from archaeological evidence. So Alan said there were 3 tortoises missing from that list.
Yeah.
In fact, there were 2 missing. Because
Wow.
it should have been 71
Oh,
instead
I
of
see.
69. So you're going to have a point for that.
Well, that's why not.
That's very good.
I'm +1, so I'm not going to speak again.
There was a female shaman's body discovered next to all these shells, and it seems there was a giant feast. It was 12,000 years ago.
Seems just unfair, really.
Yep.
You're basically born with a wok on your back.
Original microwave meal. The tortoise. Just pierce the top. It was 12,000 years ago, guys. I wasn't there. I didn't eat them.
Too soon. If it's anything like a micro meal, you stab it lots of times, don't you? You're never sure how many they mean when they say stab it.
Have you got a set number you do when you do
Kind
the
of,
microwave?
yeah.
Oh, the idea of you at the microwave.
I had to do it in TV dramas where
I was playing a rough type.
1 million British horses were sent to the First World War front. What happened to the ones that survived?
They settled in the south of France, opened a caravan park.
Of course, they couldn't learn the language. Ended up moving back.
Ah, well, that's what they didn't do, is move back.
Did the French eat them?
Well, lots of people ate them. Probably they were turned into food or they were rendered into products. Yeah, the point is, 1 million horses is a heck of a lot, but almost none made it back home. They
No,
thought...
some did, because in Warhorse he did.
Yes.
He came back. He did come back.
1 million horses
Yeah.
went to the First World War.
From Britain, yeah.
That's extraordinary. I mean, if you think about just the logistics of getting 1 million horses across
Yeah.
the Channel, I
I
mean, they're
know.
not all David Williams.
No, exactly. According to Michael Morpurgo, who wrote that book, Warhorse, you just mentioned, 8 to 10 million horses died in the First World War. And they didn't have a nice time of it, even if they did survive, because they thought they'd be diseased when they came back as well, so they just didn't want them. So it was a very sad chapter in our story.
Yeah.
It's a bummer, isn't it? I've silenced you.
It's like when they play the Black Beauty music, I just start crying. Well, you know the bit where Ginger dies? It's really, really sad.
You know what they call him, Ginger?
So I would have that music at my funeral, definitely. Black Beauty music.
It's a deal.
I'll arrange it. It's a deal with you.
Thanks.
We'll make sure it happens.
Good. Yeah, how fast is that coffin going to be moving? Quite a lick by the sounds of it.
One of the most popular ones to have now with the coffin going on is the countdown theme. Like that.
It is bizarre the way people go crazy for horses, though. I remember being, like, in primary school. It was the first time I saw anyone... And it did a really weird thing. It really stuck in my head. And there was a little girl in our primary school class. We were, like, 6 years old. And she was just in floods of tears. Just crying, bawling her eyes out. And we kind of went, what's the matter? And she went, I just love horses so much.
Is that how you were?
I don't see why that's strange. I had to write one of those, they sometimes ask you to write things for, your first love. Genuinely, my first love was Frank, and he was a pony. Who wasn't very handsome. He had brown ears and a spotty neck and a really bad sweet itch, so his mane just kind of stood up in sections. And my mother always said, if you could love Frank, then everything in the world would always be beautiful, because you thought he was beautiful. And I did.
Oh, that's so touching.
He was lovely. He understood me.
There's a whole...
He did understand me.
Why little girls rather than little boys don't care about ponies? I know families who move because the girl, for the sake of, having more space so that maybe they can get a horse.
Well, we were emotionally mature a little earlier.
Yeah.
About 50 years earlier.
I would never move for a child's hobby. I can see it like Django, but I love ponies. Yeah, well, I like this house, my own house. But you pay for the mortgage, you can stick a pony in every room, right?
Thanks, Dad.
Yeah.
All right, what are you asking?
Not your dad, all right?
All right. Thank you. So, yes, the fact is very few horses sadly made it home from the front. If they weren't killed in action, they were likely to be fed to prisoners or turned into fertiliser.